drop back, and he'll throw that ball out to his receiver, and it's almost intercepted, but then caught again, and open field towards the end zone, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Play action, drops back to pass, guys in the backfield. He finds Horak in the flat, first down and more. Over the 30, the 25, stays and bounds to the 20, jukes to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and into the end zone for a touchdown.
Sends a man in motion, he's going to give it. That's Whitaker again. Whitaker makes some guys miss, still on his feet and into the end zone. Touchdown, Valley Forge.
Hello everyone and welcome to high school football coverage here on Parma Area Community Television. It's the Axelrod Buick GMC pregame show as tonight we get you ready for the Holy Name Green Wave taking on the Parma Redmen. Ryan Radke alongside Tim O'Brien. Tim, two teams, really 5-3, 3-5. Parma could be 5-3 on paper. It looks like an even conference matchup tonight.
It should be. This should be a good game here. Really, the last team who Parma plays in the area, they've already beaten Forge and Normandy, and they'd like to try to chalk up the Green Wave, who they haven't played, from our best estimation, since 2001. So this has been a long time coming. They play each other in basketball and hockey all the time, but this is the first time in quite a while on the football field.
Yeah, these schools in close proximity to each other, Tim, and hopefully tonight, at least from what Coach Saban said, we're going to be watching the reboot of a rivalry.
Yeah, and Coach Saban says, hey, they're 2 miles down the road, 5-minute travel time or so to get here. There's no reason why this shouldn't be a rivalry. Two pretty good football teams.
Another storyline we're going to be watching today, the return of the running back Seymour for the Holy Name Green Wave. He's been out with some injury. He should be back in there tonight, Tim.
Sakif Seymour is a very explosive back for the Holy Name Green Wave. Expect when he gets the football for him to get up the field quickly and make some guys miss.
Well, when we come back, we'll take a look at the starting lineups, the keys to the game, as we continue to get you ready for kickoff between the Green Wave and the Parma Redmen here on the Axelrod Buick GMC pregame show. This is Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to high school football coverage here on Parma Area Community Television. I'm Ryan Radke alongside Tim O'Brien as we're getting you ready for this matchup between the Holy Name Green Wave and the Parma Redmen. It's the Axelrod Buick GMC pregame show, and we'll take a look inside the statistics for today's game, Tim.
Yeah, take a look at the records overall, 5-3 and 3-5, but like you said, it could be very even, because Parma really could have got those two games. They had a couple missteps early, but it could be a 5-3 record very easily for the Redmen. And then overall, Parma City Schools haven't fared too well against the Redmen. Parma trying to make it look 3-0 against a local Parma school, even though Holy Name is from Parma Heights.
Yeah, Holy Name on a 4-game winning streak, Tim. After a slow start, the Green Wave have really gotten things going as they've gotten into conference play. As we're going to go on ahead and turn things over now, Tim, we're going to get an opportunity to take a look at the starting lineups first for the Green Wave.
Yeah, for the offense, it all goes by the sophomore Joe Carter, and then Jack Stolar getting the start at running back. Shakif Seymour, remember we mentioned him in the pregame show, not in the starting lineup, as then you see the 4 receiver set really led by a few upperclassmen there. You see the big guys up front, Brandon Palza, as well as Anthony Lang, the senior, and Mitch Wondolowski, also a big-time upperclassman up there, going to be looking to open up some holes today for the Green Wave.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to be big on offense, are the Green Wave, and so we keep looking. Here's that starting defense for Holy Name.
Again, couple of seniors, 3 juniors, led by Shane Wells and also Anthony Lang. Both of those two are going to be able to kind of lead that defensive line, try to penetrate the offensive line, win the battle up front, and get to the quarterback. The starting defense continues to see the 3 linebackers and some of the defensive backs here for a Holy Name. Again, very upper class laden. The 4 juniors, the 1 senior, CJ Balados, the lone senior there, he wears number 2. You can expect that number to be called quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, he's certainly one of the leaders on that defense coming in as the senior in the starting line. Now let's take a look, Tim, at who's going to be starting for the Parma Redmen this evening.
Yeah, and it all is led right there by Kyle Lyon. Remember when we saw him as a freshman basketball player, Ryan, and we knew in the gym he was going to be a special talent, but then all of a sudden we see him start this year at the beginning of the season, and he has matured so much. Coach Saban talked about Kyle Lyon and how big of a threat he is, and don't get me wrong, he's got a lot of playmakers around him. A guy like Anthony Granata, who's a senior tight end and defensive lineman, and some other guys up front, some big guys up front being able to open the holes for the running game. But Kyle Lyon is a quarterback who can run that read option. He has a good arm, and he can beat you with his feet. Really, the sophomore leads this offensive attack, and there's the big guy, John Todd, who's been anchoring this line for, it seems like, 3-4 years. You got to know where number 77, John Todd, is as well.
You got to know where John Todd is on the offensive line. We'll take a look on the defensive side of the football as well, Tim, where John Todd also usually plays a role.
He does. He's a guy who tries to rush the quarterback big time. Santana King, another guy there who, can play not only tight end, but also defensive line. Josh Whitus, Colin Layden. You start hearing the same names over and over and over again for Parma, who are sophomores and now are juniors, and will be able to come back next year. Nick Lord, another good example of that. Alex McDaniel's going to get a start defensively tonight. Troy Dussman, he's one of the seniors who'll be leaving. It is seniors night tonight. You see earlier, you saw the seniors lining up. Anthony Ganata, another one. So I'm sure these seniors kind of want to go out on a high note, Ryan, and Sebastian Spear, another guy who's played a big role for this Parma Redmond team, and over the years, not just this season. Coach Saban says, hey, it's all about your senior class, and he has his hats off to the senior class tonight.
And a big night for those seniors tonight as they get ready for this matchup with the Holy Name Green Wave. Let's take a look, Tim, at what Coach Dan Wondolowski saw as the keys for his Green Wave tonight.
Well, you got to control the ball first and foremost, and that just doesn't mean on the offensive side. You have to be able to play clock control a little bit on the defensive side. A balanced attack, run and pass, is also important, and then we talked about it. Shaquille Seymour, if he's in and healthy, he's a game changer. They need to establish him early.
That's for the Green Wave. On the other side, talking to Coach Saban before the game, Tim, what were some of his keys that he's looking out of his Redmond this evening?
Coach Saban, first things first, stop Seymour or stop the run. And then also, he mentioned this, he goes, sometimes special teams gets overlooked. We can't overlook it. We've had trouble driving the length of the field. We need better field position tonight. He's going to try to rely on his special teams and then have Lyon be king. I mean, he's got to go out there and just do his thing tonight and really kind of just take over the offense and really take charge out there. If Kyle Lyon can do that, you're going to like the result if you're the Parma Redmond, a very special talent at quarterback.
Well, there's your setup for tonight's game between the Holy Name Green Wave and the Parma Redmond. When we come back, it'll be time for kickoff. This has been the Axelrod Buick GMC pregame show, getting you ready for this matchup between Holy Name and Parma next on Parma Area Community Television. High school football action on Parma Area Community Television. Ryan Radke and Tim O'Brien. It's the Holy Name Green Wave kicking off to the Parma Redmond to get this big matchup underway. Hopefully the birth of a rivalry, as these two teams really only a couple miles apart, now in the same conference. And as Coach Saban said before the game, Tim, hopefully the start of a rivalry between these two schools.
Yeah, they're local. They've been playing each other through grade school all the way up now through high school. So it'll be interesting to see here if the Green Wave and the Redmond have something get started here tonight.
We're waiting for the official kickoff to be underway. Marty Wallace handles the place kicking duties. He's the senior for the Holy Name Green Wave as he is getting ready, and there's the opening whistle. So the opening kickoff is going to be off, and we are underway here at Byers Field. It's going to be returned for the Redmond from the 15, coming to the near side 30, and that's where the Redmond will start this drive. So a nice return down there, Tim, for Parma, as coming up with that football on the return for the Redmond was Colin Layden.
Yeah, Colin Layden, he's a guy there who you're going to hear a lot of him tonight. Layden hopefully will be able to go and make a few more big plays, but the Redmond have done a terrific job here this year to try to get him involved.
Kyle Lyon, the junior quarterback, 6'2", 165 pounds for the Parma Redmond, and he has certainly improved as this season has progressed, as he's gotten in there getting some action, and he's going to be all the better quarterback for it next year as we have a handoff on the opening play, moving to the far side of the field, as that was going to be Sebastian Spear getting the senior involved immediately, Tim.
Sebastian Spear, that's that read option, Ryan, where we've seen a lot more teams run this kind of quick pace, no huddle, and get up to the line and go. Sebastian Spear gets the first carry, goes off the left side and picks up a nice chunky yardage. And now Kyle Lyon, he's such a dangerous runner. That's what makes the read option such effective. You have to have a mobile quarterback.
Sebastian Spear, one of the captains on this team, 5'11", 215. He's the tailback in this formation again as the Redmen come under center, and this is going to be another give to Spear. How about that hole up the middle? Gets across to the 46-yard line, so a 6-yard pickup will bring up 2nd and 4 for the Redmen.
And that time it was power I. So you showed a little bit of the first time in that pistol. Now you come back to the power I. You give it to the power run game, and a nice job there again by Spear of picking up some tough yardage.
So Sebastian Spear has gotten both carries to start this drive, and he's picked up solid chunks of yards. Senior night here. So for Sebastian Spear, this is the last home game of his career, and I know he wants to make it a memorable one. And so far, after 2 carries, he's off to a good start. 2nd and 4 now for the Redmen with a man in motion. Here we go, little delay to Spear again off the left side. Sebastian Spear has the first down all the way into Green Wave territory at the 47-yard line. How about that little slip move by Spear?
Spear, again, little shimmy shake, but power running from the senior captain. Bounced off one guy. Watch this block come here, though. At the end, the offensive line does a nice job. Big-time block. I believe that was Gabe Palmentera who came in at the last second and was able to push away a defender to allow him, his running back, Spear, to get about 4 more yards. Terrific job.
And another first down, so 3 carries for Spear, and the Redmen have already moved the football about 35 yards. Here we go on play action for the first time today. They're set up nicely for it, and that was a nice pass over the middle out at about the 40-yard line. First time today the number has been called of Ron McCurra. He's a senior, and Tim, he gets in there and gets to make a catch, 6-foot, 200-pounder.
Senior night, as you see a lot of them check in, is this upper class, and no matter what, in whatever high school you go to, you rely on your seniors, and you got to applaud Coach Saban, getting them in there, getting them starting, but also tip your hat off to the seniors for being effective.
I would say McCurra gets a big catch there. That's going to bring 2nd and short for the Redmen. This is certainly manageable. Here's a handoff to the far side. That's Bryson Durham on the carry. He's going to get all the way to the 30-yard line. And so we're going to wait. There's a flag all the way back to him. It's not in the backfield, so it's going to be a gain of a yard and then a 10-yard penalty on the holding against the Redmen. Here's a look at this play again on the run.
Yeah, Durham there just kind of put the head down and got some tough yardage, but unfortunately it's going to be all for naught as you're going to march the penalty off, and we'll do it again on 2nd down.
Now, he did manage to pick up a yard in high school. You go back 10 yards from where the flag was thrown, so it's going to bring up a 2nd and 11 here for the Parma Redmen. Just under 10 minutes to go in this first quarter. No score, but Parma, after really doing a good job moving the ball down the field, loses 10 yards on a penalty that they're going to have to make up here. Officially, it's 2nd and 11. This is a QB draw, and in trouble and being sacked is Kyle Lyon. There's that big defensive front from the Holy Name Green Wave, and a flag flies in late.
Yeah, a late flag that gets tossed in there, and we'll check the penalty. It's probably going to be a dead ball personal foul.
Now, before the game, we see the sack there for the Holy Name Green Wave, and before the game, Coach Wondolowski, one of the things he was talking about, Tim, was how happy he was with that offensive line. He says they've really worked hard this year, and they've really, over the past few weeks, turned into a unit, and the offensive line turning into a unit is one of the things that has put the Green Wave on this 4-game winning streak. Of course, the late personal foul penalty, it's going to be 15 yards and a first down for the Parma Redmen.
Yeah, tough there for the Green Wave. You do a good job of stopping Lyon. First time you tried to keep it tonight, and then you get the 15-yarder, an automatic first down. That's a backbreaker.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Redmen. They're on the Holy Name 33-yard line. No score in the first quarter. Lyon's going to go under center in this power I formation. Here we go, a little trickery. It's a run to the outside. Durham again. And Durham is going to pick up 6-7 yards. And, Tim, good play call by the Parma Redmen to throw a wrinkle in there on offense.
Bryson Durham, a junior, 5'10", 180-pounder. But he can also slash and dash with the best of them. I mean, he is a guy who can get upfield besides just running the ball between the tackles.
Little misdirection there. Looked like the Redmen were going to run up the middle. Then they send Durham to the outside, and it was open for a 7-yard pickup. So 2nd and 3 for the Redmen from the Holy Name 26-yard line. Under center, this is going to be a handoff. This is going to be Sebastian Spear, and with forward progress, that should be enough for a first down. Another big run for Sebastian Spear. 4 positive gains on this drive for the senior captain.
Sebastian Spear, another guy who has a tough run, but another penalty marker down, and that's going to go against the Redmen, so it's all for naught yet again.
So a holding call against the Redmen. They have 2 of those for 20 yards on this drive. The Green Wave have the 15-yard personal foul penalty. So we're going all kinds of directions backwards here.
Laundry day here at Byers Field here in the early going.
As these two teams do in battle, we're going to have a 2nd and 8 for the Parma Redmen with the ball spotted on the Green Wave 31-yard line. And so Kyle Lyon comes back, and he's going to be ready. Lions completed 1 pass on this drive. Here's the snap. It's looking like another pass play as he rolls toward the near sideline, fires, and a great job coming back to the football. Is that a catch? It sure is. That's a great catch down there on the near sideline by Colin Layden.
How about that? Layden, just a guy who was able to kind of run a quick stop route, Ryan. He went up the sideline, then came back. A good play by Lyon to find him. And Layden laid out, made a diving catch, enough for a first down.
Colin Layden, a junior, so these two are going to be hooking up with each other next year as well in that passing game, Tim. And you saw the trust there from Lyon getting it up to him, and Layden coming back to the football, making the nice catch. On 1st and 10, this is going to be a handoff going to the far side of the field. Durham, he's going to push ahead, a gain of about 5. That'll put the Redmen at the Green Wave 15. This is 2nd and 5. And Tim, with as well as everything has gone on this drive for the Redmen, I know it's early, but it almost feels imperative that they score.
Well, if you get to 4th down, I think you go for it. I mean, unless you get to about the 1 or 2 yard line, you can boot in an easy field goal. But I'm with you, Ryan. I mean, you're moving the ball well on this drive. You're doing a lot of good things. Why not? You can go ahead, try to get a little aggressive, and see if you can walk away with 6.
First trip into the red zone of the night for the Parma Redmen. And here they go on 2nd and 6. The ball spotted on about the 16-yard line. There's a man in motion, a little bit of trickery and nothing there. Try the misdirection run, and that front 7 of the Green Wave gets in the backfield in a hurry, brings down Sebastian Spear, the first time he's had a negative gain today.
Tell you what, this might have been a flea flicker that just got blew up, Ryan. If you see Spear on this, he's able to take this pitch, and then you see Lyon backing up. It almost looks like he was trying to pitch the ball back to Lyon, but a good job there of Holy Name to really kind of swarm the ball carrier there and not let him pitch it back to his quarterback. There was a receiver coming down the near sideline where I think that one was targeted to.
As the man in motion, as dropping back to pass, Kyle Lyon. He's got plenty of pocket, fires for the end zone, pass incomplete. Good coverage by the Green Wave down there in the end zone, and so the pass falls harmlessly incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down, the intended receiver, Alex McDaniels.
You know what? What a toss, though, here from the junior quarterback, Kyle Lyon. Watch where this ball is placed. The only guy who's going to be able to catch this is the man in the gray jersey. He goes up just out of reach there, threaded the needle nicely, just a little bit too tall. Kyle Lyon can make some big-time throws, and we saw it right there, just a little bit too tall for his receiver.
This is going to bring up 4th down, 4th and 10 for the Redmen. Lyon steps back to pass. He's in trouble. He's flushed out of the pocket, rolling to the far sideline, fires, and the pass is going to be incomplete. That was a big hit down there inside the 10-yard line. Lyon managed to find an open receiver, but those passes over the middle of the field, Tim, can be dangerous.
Yeah, and the big hit there was on Louis D'Onofrio, where you see this scramble here by Kyle Lyon, and he was able to hit the receiver, but then, wow, a big-time hit. And D'Onofrio is not getting up here. As he looks like he's in maybe an uncomfortable spot. I don't know if it's an equipment issue or what, but the training staff is out there attending to him.
Well, we'll step aside. We'll be back with more first quarter action after this on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to high school football action on Parma Area Community Television. Ryan Radke, Tim O'Brien. No score between the Parma Redmen and the Holy Name Green Wave here in the first quarter. Just over 7 minutes left in action. And that was a turnover on down, so Holy Name takes over for the first time today at their own 20 behind senior quarterback Joe Carter, I should say sophomore quarterback Joe Carter. So the young man getting the start at quarterback this year. Here we go. It was the option. He hands it off, and that's going to be a big loss. That went into the hands of Jake Stolar. Nothing doing there, though, Tim. for the Holy Name Green Wave.
Yeah, nothing doing there. Jake Stolar tried to come around the outside, but tell you what, the injury before the break, Louis D'Onofrio able to walk off the field under his own power, looked a little uncomfortable, but if we have an update, we'll be able to get it to you.
There you see it right there, as that was Anthony Granata, senior captain, on the stop. And here the Green Wave, not much again. So this Parma defense, Tim, has come to play tonight. 2 quick stops on the Holy Name running attack, executing what was one of the keys to this game for the Parma Redmen.
Yeah, big time. You got to stop the run. And, Shaquille Seymour right now is not in there, so you got to cue in and see if you can kind of pin your ears back and make the tackle. John Todd, the first guy to get to him and hold him up. John Todd, of course, the big-time offensive and defensive lineman, the guy who plays on both sides of the football. And Todd, a nice job of plugging the hole.
The Green Wave have a nice 2-headed monster at running back, Tim. As you talk about Shaquille Seymour, he's been out, but they've been sending Jake Stolar, the junior, and also sharing time with him, Mike Cutter, the junior, as well. Those 2 guys shared time in the backfield, and before the game, Coach Wondolowski was telling me they've done a good job in the absence of Shaquille Seymour.
They have, and right now you just kind of try to tread water a little bit, Ryan, until you can get Seymour back.
Now the injured member of the Holy Name Green Wave being helped off the field, as that was Jake Stolar, the running back there. So Stolar is going to have to be helped off the field. Shaquille Seymour, we were told we might see him. Hopefully Stolar is all right, Tim, but that might lead to maybe seeing a little bit of more Seymour tonight, as here he comes out onto the field, and he is a talented and dynamic running back, Tim.
He sure is. I mean, you talk about a guy who is electric. I think that was the adjective Coach Wondolowski used to describe him, and we'll see right here.
So this is going to be a 3rd and 15 for the Green Wave. Carter ready to take a shotgun snap. He's got a pass over the middle, and that pass was dropped. The intended receiver down there was Mike Cutter, the junior, and he couldn't quite make the catch. Good job in coverage by the Redmen, and that's a turnover.
Well, it was 3rd and long, and so now you had to throw there on 3rd down. So now 4th down will come up, and then they'll have to boot it away. Marty Wallace is the kicker and the punter, the senior. So we'll see how much to field position, which again was a key for Parma, Ryan, not to start 80 yards and back and go have a full 80 yards to go.
It was Colin Layden on the coverage on that last play. Here's a good strong boot, and it's going to be returned at the 50-yard line, and that's going to be all the Redmen can get there. Good job by the Green Wave coverage unit to get to Colin Layden. And forward progress, Tim, should mark them right at midfield, which is good, because this is the part of the field where before the game Coach Saban said he wanted his team to get to start from.
Well, right, but late in there you got to fair catch that football, Ryan. You can't really be trying to concentrate on making a move after you're in all that traffic. That was dangerous there for the Redmen, but I want to see a little bit more of Kyle Lyon's arm. We saw it on the one throw. It looked pretty strong. Let's see if they try to take a shot here and get a big chunk on 1st down.
Lyon completed his only pass, one of 2 on that first drive. He threw 2 passes. As here he goes, 1st and 10 from midfield. This is going to be a handoff. That was a big hole up the middle, coming into Green Wave territory and being brought down at the 42-yard line. The carry was for Durham, and that's going to be close to a 1st down.
Well, the old cliche, if it's not broke, don't break it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Run the football, and they've been successful doing that so far. So good job there from Parma. Now it's 2nd and short. Now you can really take your shot here on 2nd down and manageable.
Well, it's going to be Sebastian Spear in the backfield this time with Kyle Lyon. It's going to be 2nd and 2 from the Green Wave 42 for the Redmen. Man in motion for Parma. Here's the snap. We got a flag, and that's going to be an illegal motion against the Redmen, Tim. That's going to cost them 5 yards. So
yeah. And again, more times here, Parma, after a positive play, they back up. It happened now. This is the 3rd time. 2 holding penalties and now a false start here. So instead of 2nd and short, it'll be 2nd and about 7.
And the Redmen are going to take this from the 47-yard line of the Holy Name Green Wave. As Spear is still in the backfield with Kyle Lyon. This is 2nd and 7. Man in motion for the Redmen coming to the near side. Here's the snap. Back to pass. Lyon's got plenty of time. Fires deep down the near sideline. That was almost intercepted. The intended receiver down the field right there was Anthony Menace, but good job in coverage by the Green Wave, and that almost gets picked off. That'll bring up third down.
It's Jarrett Noello just too dove in at the last second there to tip it away. But again, Kyle Lyon, heck of an arm, is able to throw it down there. But you don't want to see him keep throwing that into double coverage as, again, Noello able to dive and get a hand on that to prevent the big play. So third down and about 7.
Well, you know, Tim, before the game down on the field, there was really no wind to mention. Now you look at that flag, it's blowing directly towards Kyle Lyon right now, and you wonder if maybe that throw got in the wind. On 3rd and 7, here's a nice quick short slant. It's going to be incomplete. The pass was a catchable ball. Unable to come up with it is the receiver on the near side of the field. The intended receiver that time was Louis D'Onofrio. Good to see him back in the game, but that's going to bring up a 4th and 7.
D'Onofrio has had two passes thrown his way, and he's got hit twice. Very hard. D'Onofrio, I'm sure, is going to come over, take a little bit of a break before he gets back out there for his next sequence of downs.
So ready to punt this one away now are the Redmen. 5 minutes to go in a scoreless first quarter. And Tim, so far we've had a defensive battle between these two teams. Both of these defenses coming up big so far. As this is a high, short punt. And it's going to bounce across the 20, taking a good Redmond roll all the way down to the 12-yard line. So Parma will certainly take that. And it's going to be a long field for the Holy Name Green Wave. And let's see if Shaquille Seymour comes back out there to get his first carry of the night for the Green Wave.
Well, Shaquille Seymour is a guy who can bust at 78 yards here, and it could be a quick 6-0 game. He's that dynamic. If you're Parma, though, you just keep doing what you're doing. You expect the run until they show you that they can pass. But again, if you're Joe Carter, then I would go ahead and look for a little play action, use Seymour maybe as a decoy here and try to take a shot, try to beat Parma, stretch the field vertically. You have a couple big play receivers, mainly Mike Cutter, who you tried to hit on that big third down play, just threw it a little bit behind him.
On 1st and 10, Carter with the handoff to Seymour. Seymour had a little bit of a space. He's going to pick up 3 yards. That'll bring up 2nd and 7. But, Tim, if you're Shaquille Seymour, you'll take a positive 3 yards on your first carry in your return.
Right, you make 3 yards look pretty dynamic there. Watch him get this handoff and then just, boom, up the field he goes. And I think he actually might have ran into one of his own linemen.
Seymour, the senior, trying to get in his final 2 games of his career. It's a handoff to Seymour going to the outside. He could be dangerous once he gets around the tackles. Good job and contained by the Parma linebackers to hold him to 6. That'll bring up a 3rd and short for the Green Wave.
And now I would say it'd probably be a steady diet of number 7 here. Of course you want to try to mix it up a little bit, but when you have Seymour who looks like he's healthy, you're going to keep trying to feed him the football.
Well, the officials decide to move the chains, so it's 1st and 10 for the Green Wave. That one right on that border, and now we're going to get a flag, and it looks like the Green Wave, Tim, are going to be backing off 5 yards on this one.
Yeah, it looks like maybe an illegal shift or illegal procedure.
Look at the official.
Nope, it's going to go on Parma.
How about that? A little bit of encroachment.
Well, they called encroachment on the offense, which is not allowed.
Usually that's offsides. That usually means there must be either too many guys on the line of scrimmage for Holy Name, Tim. That's what you might see. Or maybe someone was lined up on the wrong side of the line of scrimmage. Either way, it's going to cost the Green Wave 5 yards. And you're absolutely right. You don't see that go against the offense very often. So we're going to have 1st and 15 for the Green Wave. They're going to have this at the 17. Carter ready from the pistol. Here we go. It's a handoff to Seymour. Seymour had a hole on the right side. Levy's a big hit. He's going to have enough for the first down. A 16, 17-yard run for Shaquille Seymour, and that was all power, Tim.
That was the truck sticking Madden right there. Watch this play here. He just gets it, cuts up the field. Poof, bam, the big time hit there, and he just keeps on going. Almost does it again at the end of the run. Tried to lower his shoulder again and just knocked down a couple Parma defenders. The first guy who got in his way was Alex McDaniels, and then Andrew Shields also felt a little bit of Shaquille Seymour, who's not only quick, Ryan, he can definitely lower a boom.
Nicholas Lord helped him finish off Seymour to get the tackle, and now we're going to get a flag and a whistle, and we're going to get a timeout taken down there on the field, Tim, as the Parma Redmen want a timeout to discuss what they're going to do about Seymour. We'll take a timeout, too. 3:53 to go in the first quarter. No score here on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to high school football coverage on Parma Area Community Television. Ryan Radke, Tim O'Brien, the Green Wave, and the Redmen. No score first quarter. Green Wave with the football on 1st and 10. A handoff to Seymour. Seymour does a good job to stay on his feet, and Seymour is going to pick up 5 yards. Tim, looked like the Redmen did a good job of blowing that play up in the backfield, but Shaquille Seymour was very steady on his feet.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, you talk about steady, but then how about also use the adjective elusive? That's what he is right here. Just, nope, I'm not going to go that way. Cut up the field, and then good vision. Great running backs have great vision through the offensive line.
Seymour barrels up the middle. The Redmen are able to contain him to a gain of 4. That's going to bring up about a 3rd and 3. And Tim, that's going to be the key here. You know, keep Seymour to these short gains. The Redmen, outside of that 15-yard gain, have done a good job of that, and they did a good job to close that hole on Seymour, not letting him get into open space, because that's where he gets really dangerous.
Big down here for the Redmen. You want to see what you can do. See if you can make Holy Name punt this ball again here.
3rd and short. Let's see if they go to Seymour again, or if maybe they go to the air. They're going to keep it to Seymour, coming to the left side, and he's going to pick up the first down, and he's going to say thank you very much, because he got a big block that helped spring that run forward. Throwing that block was Brandon Plaza, the offensive lineman.
Ryan, it's a cool night here. You know, it's week 9 of the season. Usually each team are fighting some injuries, but Seymour is a guy who, when he's in there, you're just going to keep giving him the football. It doesn't matter if it's a rainy day or a clear day like tonight. You're just going to let number 7 run with it.
Well, Marquise Thompson checks into the game to spell Seymour now. This is going to be a 1st and 10 from about midfield for the Green Wave. On play action, back to pass. Carter fires deep down the far sideline. How about that arm, Tim? It falls incomplete. Great job in coverage down the field. That'll bring up 2nd and 10, but a nice throw to go deep.
Quinn Alberti was the intended target, the junior, but yeah, how about, you mentioned it, maybe that's why the sophomore is starting, Ryan. I mean, he bombs that down to the 20, and I tell you what, if his receiver keeps running, it might be able to get to him, just a touch overthrown, but a terrific arm there from the sophomore quarterback.
Won the job in camp this August. And Coach Wodolowski said he won it outright, did a good job in camp. He's done a great job. This is going to be a fumble. Marquise Thompson, the sophomore, with the carry. The ball's on the deck at midfield, and the Parma Redmen come up with the football. So the Parma Redmen get a fumble recovery. Getting down there to pick that up was Troy Dusman with the big fumble recovery, and the Redmen will take over at midfield.
That's a senior again, Troy Dusman, the 6 foot, 185-pound linebacker, able to jump on the football, and now all the momentum shifted over back towards Holy Name. Now that's exactly what you need. Your defense come out and force a turnover. Let's see if Parma can capitalize and go down and get some points here.
So here we go. This is going to be 1st and 10 Redmen. They're at about midfield, and Kyle Lyon is going to come out under center. We're looking for some power run here from the Redmen on 1st and 10. Just over 2 minutes left in the first quarter. It's going to be a pitch running to the near side, and now ducking, diving up the middle. Not much there. A flag flies in away from the football. So we'll have to wait and see what that call is going to be, as the Parma Redmen, this play might be coming back. We got to wait and see.
If I had to guess, I think it'd be defensive holding here. Oh no, it's offensive holding. I mean, it was going back and forth each way.
Well, a little bit of offensive holding. We'll watch the replay here. It was Vinny Lebdour on the carry, and it looked like that was holding on the end of the play, maybe, Tim, against the Redmen to push them back 10 yards. So that's going to push them all the way back to their own 44-yard line. It's going to bring up 1st and 20 for Kyle Lyon in this Parma Redmen offense. No score.
Well, that certainly could have went either way. They called it down on the near side in front of us, Ryan, and initially I thought I saw the side judge tell the referee it was on Holy Name, and now we have a discussion here of who maybe they're talking exactly of who this penalty was on.
Now the side judge says it was against Holy Name, Tim, or we may have an offsetting situation here. The officials got something lost in the transfer, though, because, Tim, you saw the initial call, which was holding against Holy Name. They went on, if it stays against Parma, that's their 4th penalty, and all of them have come on offense, and those penalties might be one reason why the Redmen are yet to score. We'll take a look at the replay again here.
Watch the bottom of the screen right there. I believe the holding call is going to be happening. Yeah, he's dragging down the offender, and then you see the flag come in late. I guess they're going to keep it. Nah, that's tough. That's right where the holding was. Number 2, C.J. Balladis, was the guy who I thought was potentially going to get flagged for Holy Name. but it goes against Parma. Tough break.
The only senior in the Green Wave's secondary with a penalty. Here's a big hole, and that's enough to get 10 of those 10 yards back, lost on the holding penalty. So the Parma Redmen with a nice big carry forward. Durham on the carry for the Redmen, and Tim, that's a gain of about 13 yards on 1st and 20.
Well, no big deal, and that's what good teams do, Ryan. They kind of brush off what happened the last play. You come back, you try to make a positive play, and now it's 2nd down. We'll call it 7, and you just erase everything right there. So if you got the call or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're where you want to be now if you're the Redmen. Lyon fires for the far sideline. Pass is complete. That's going to be enough for 1st down and more, all the way inside the 35-yard line. A big reception, and that was a completion the Redmen needed. On the reception was Griffin Magda, the senior, 5'8", 200 pounds.
Magda, a guy who, again, has been a go-to target for Kyle Lyon. They did this little bubble screen. They got him the ball quickly. That's where Lyon really thrives, getting the ball out quick. And that's what you want to kind of see at the next level. I'm sure next year he'll probably have a few looks for some area colleges.
On 1st and 10, here we go. A little misdirection again for the Redmen. The handoff went to Durham, and there's nothing doing there. So Durham picks up maybe a yard. That'll bring up 2nd and 9. But the Redmen, we saw they keep that steady diet of run up the middle. It opened up that bubble screen on the last play.
Some new personnel coming in. And Ryan, we've seen a lot of passing offense really kind of take control the past few years across football, across the nation. But now it seems like we're going back to the 14-10 games and the run and winning the line of scrimmage, and that's what Parma's trying to establish tonight.
Sweep run for Nicholas Lord. Lord crosses the 30 up to the 28-yard line. Lord loses the football, and the Green Wave recover. So the Green Wave turned the football over to give it to the Redmen, and the Redmen go on ahead and give it right back down there. Now we're having a discussion between the officials, and it is a Green Wave football.
Wow. Again, right here, Parma thinks they're down. Let's take a look at this replay, Ryan, as coming around the edge here, and then you see the ball get switched to the opposite side. Let's watch where the player is down. He is down for, I think that should be Parma football. I think his knee, and then the back of his uniform is actually on the ground before that ball comes out. That's a tough break for the Redmen.
Well, if you could go to the tape at the high school level, that call might get overturned.
Next year we're going to have Dan invest on one of those monitors down on the sideline so the referee can run over.
So here we go. This is going to be Carter, and that's a slant route across the middle, and that's going to be enough for 1st down as Harhalos, the sophomore, comes up with a big play to move the chains for the Green Wave.
We'll get an official packed hood over it. That way they can look in there and take a look at their replays.
Taking a look at the replay, this is a nice catch here by the sophomore, Tim.
Sure is, and a good slant route and a terrific pass as well. So, been a pretty entertaining first quarter, Ryan.
So that should be the final play of the first quarter. I highly doubt Joe Carter in this Green Wave offense is going to run another play, and they are going to walk off the field. The first quarter comes to an end. No score between the Redmen and the Holy Name Green Wave here on Parma Area Community Television. Second quarter action getting underway here on Parma Area Community Television. Ryan Radke, Tim O'Brien. Here we go. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Shaquille Seymour. And Shaquille Seymour is going to pick up about a yard. And that's going to go on ahead. It's going to bring up 2nd and 9 for the Green Wave. Seymour's explosive, Tim. He has one big run, but so far, at least through the first quarter of play, the Redmen have bottled him up.
Well, you're not going to stop him, so you better slow him down. And, I think that's been the plan of attack tonight, and they've done a nice job.
On 2nd and 9, this is going to be a pass play. Carter fires on a screen pass. That's going to be enough for about 5. It'll set up 3rd and manageable. And the Green Wave were well set up for that play as the receiver on it was Jeff Herco.
3rd down, they'll call it 2. Herco, a good job there of making the catch. And then watch his first move. You turn and go directly up the field. Get to what you can. And pretty good spot there for Holy Name as well.
So here we go on 3rd and 2. From the shotgun is going to be Carter. As this is 11 minutes to go, back to pass, Carter. Carter is going to escape the pocket, and he's diving forward, but Tim, he does not have enough for the 1st down. So that's going to bring up 4th and short. It should for the Green Wave at about midfield, and now it's decision time for Coach Wondolowski and the Holy Name Green Wave.
He's going to punt the football, but wow, I would consider this just because you have Shaquille Seymour. You need a yard. He hasn't been stopped for a yard loss at all tonight. And watch the trickery. Remember, Holy Name is one of those schools who likes to run a few trick plays on the special teams.
I'll wait and see. Maybe one of the thoughts in Coach Wondolowski's mind, you heard Coach Saban before the game, Tim, tell us that his team struggles on long fields, and having watched the game film and knowing that, maybe Coach Wondolowski trusts his defense to go back there and hold the Redmen back on a long field. The punt is going to get off. Colin Layden is going to let it drop at the 20, and it's going to roll all the way down to the 10-yard line. So looks like officially it'll be at about the 11, so the Redmen will have to go an 89-yard field, and we'll see. Coach Saban said this is something they've been working on, improving their game plan on long fields. We'll see how they do with a long field in front of them now.
Well, right. I mean, but again, you have plenty of time. The quarter just flipped over, so I mean, if you're Parma, you just keep doing the things that have been working, which has primarily been the running game. You want to try to avoid those yellow hankies being tossed on the field, which has kind of hurt them here in the first quarter. So we'll see what they dial up, but you get a fresh running back in there. It seems like every few plays for Parma.
Well, this has turned into a defensive battle between these two teams. Both teams already have a turnover. Here's the handoff, and there's just nothing happening. That play blown up in the backfield. The Green Wave might be starting to get keyed in on that play. This time the runner was Anthony DiDonato, his first carry of the night.
Matt Hurst, the first guy through there for the Green Wave, the junior, able to drag down the ball carrier. Good play, but now another flag on the play.
And they get holding against the Parma Redmen again, Tim, so that's going to be the 5th penalty assessed against the Parma Redmen today, and that's going to push them back half the distance to the goal, so now they're going to be on their own 4-yard line. First down, and this is going to be about 16 for the Parma Redmen, backed up in their own end zone. And with the penetration the Green Wave front 7 has gotten throughout the night, this is dangerous territory for the Redmen. I should say it's a second down situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that they would accept that penalty there because of the loss.
Now here we go. This is going to be back in the end zone. Lyon looking to make a play. Kyle Lyon fires a football down the near sideline. It's going to fall incomplete. The intended receiver was Colin Layden. That's going to bring up a long field here. 2nd and 17 on the scoreboard. 3rd and 17 down on the field.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing about it here is, again, watch this. A tough decision. Now, if he gets tackled in the end zone right there, it's a safety. So Lyon's got to be very conscious of where he is on the field, especially in the shadow of your own goal line.
And it is officially a second down, or 3rd on the field, 2nd down on the scoreboard.
Always go with the down marker. I would say it's 3rd down here.
So it's a 3rd and 17 for the Parma Redmen. Is ready to take this one. Is going to be Kyle Lyon from the shotgun. Here we go. This is the QB keeper. He's got a hole on the right side and a big pickup. Not enough for a first down, but at least the Redmen won't have to punt out of the back of their own end zone, Tim. And the Holy Name Green Wave looked a little set up for that QB draw.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, very close to it here. And Kyle Lyon wisely decides, I'm going to, play another down here, and decided to slide. He gave himself up. It's 4th and 4, but now again you don't have to punt out of the shadow of your own end zone. You give your punter a little bit of room.
Richie Podlinski, the 5'11", 160-pound senior, with the wind at his back on this punt. A couple of members of the Green Wave back at midfield to return, and that's a strong line drive kick. It's going to be dropped back there at the 40-yard line. The return man is Nick Gagne. Gagne tries to go to the outside. He's brought down at the 41. 42-yard line maybe, as Nick Gagne had to return that running backwards, Tim. That's how strong the boot of Podlinski was.
Oh, we have another flag on the play, and this could be a horse collar or a face mask here on Parma. Let's take a look at the very end of this. On the return, that's where the personal foul flag occurred.
We're going to wait officially, and here we go. Yeah, it's going to be a face mask penalty, and it's going to go against the Redmen, so that's going to be the 6th penalty against Parma today, and Tim will see it here on the end of the replay.
Yeah, the marker, it came in late, and it was on the return. See, so it's a good job here of Parma in coverage, but then I don't know if it was the shoulder pads, but obviously it was the face mask right there. You saw the helmet turn, and then he eventually got drugged down. I think he let go of the face mask, but remember, even if you grab it and yank it, it's a 15-yarder.
So that's going to bring Holy Name into Parma territory. 1st and 10 from the 44. Handoff to Seymour up the middle. Seymour drags through one tackle, gets all the way down to the 37-yard line. A 6-yard pickup brings up 2nd and 4 for Shaquille Seymour.
He just bounces off defenders, Ryan. Watch this. I mean, you think you have him bottled up. Nope. off of one, and then another about 4 or 5 yard gain after the first initial contact. Yards after contact, he's got to have unbelievable stats throughout his career.
On 2nd and 3, Seymour is going to get the handoff from Carter, and he's going to come to the near side. He's got a big hole. Seymour's got a first down and more. Barrels across the defender at the 20. Gets all the way down to the 15-yard line. I'll tell you what, good job getting into the open field to end up making the tackle by Alex McDaniels, the sophomore. But that's going to move the chains, and Seymour looks like he might be starting to get his legs under him here in the second quarter, Tim.
Shaquille Seymour just shoves across Andrew Shields right here and just says, hey, get out of here, and throws him down. I mean, just the awareness and the presence of mind to take a defender who's running at you full bore and just shoving him aside, that's talented.
1st and 10 from the 14. Ready in the shotgun is going to be Carter. Here's the snap. It's going to be a handoff to Seymour. Makes a move, makes another move. He gets across the 10 ahead to the 5-yard line. So that's going to be a pickup of 8 or 9 yards, and it's going to be a 2nd down and short for the Holy Name Green Wave.
Well, you can see why Shaquille Seymour is so special on back-to-back runs. You just saw him make a power run play. You see another stiff arm and a shrug off there, but before that little juke, that cutback, is what enabled him to get those 6 or 7 yards.
2nd and 2, here we go. It's going to be handoff to Seymour. He does a good job of finding the hole, and he should have enough for a first down, Tim. So that'll set up 1st and goal for the Green Wave.
I'm not so sure. I think it's going to be 3rd and very short here.
Yeah, it was awfully close. They're spotting him a little bit back. On the far side of the field, they spotted him a little further up. On the near side, they spot him a little further back. It's going to be 3rd and short. Let's see just how far he gets with forward progress. He needed to get just across the 9. Yeah, that's awfully close down there. So that's going to be 3rd and short for the Holy Name Green Wave. As ready to go is going to be Carter. It's going to be a handoff to Seymour. The Redmen get to him in the backfield, and we'll see, Tim. I think this time he pushed forward enough for a first down. The Redmen did a good job to get back there and try to prevent the first down run, but they were unable to, and that moves the chains. Looks like the man who got back there to him was Troy Dusman.
Yeah, they got to him right initially there, but look at those legs just keep on turning and turning and turning, and finally he's able to pick up the first down, so it's 1st and goal inside the 5.
1st and goal. Let's see if they keep a steady diet of Seymour. Maybe they try a short pass into the end zone. They're going to give it to Seymour, going to the outside, looking for the hole. He spins off one tackle, still on his feet. He's going to get ahead to the 2, so that'll bring up 2nd and goal for the 2 after a gain of 1 as Seymour's got that nice spin move in his arsenal, Tim, and he's able to spin off a number of tackles.
Well, right when you think he doesn't have a power run move or, a juke in him, he busts out the spin move and shows you how elusive he really is.
He gets good blocking up front, too. Colin Costanzo, the fullback, does a good job throwing blocks ahead of Seymour. Here's the handoff to Seymour, and he should have enough to get into the end zone for a touchdown. It's awfully close. It looked like he might have stretched that ball out, Tim, but they're going to mark him a half an inch short, so that'll bring up 3rd and goal. And from up here, it looked like he stretched that arm out. He doesn't quite get the call, though. Here's a look at the replay.
This has been a very tough drive for Holy Name of you think it's going to go in and then it's not, or you think you're going to get the first down and then you don't.
So here we go. This is going to be 3rd and short, and it's going to be a handoff to Seymour. Did he get there, Tim? It's close. I'm not sure. On the far sideline, they're ruling it a touchdown, and it is a touchdown for the Holy Name Green Wave. Shaquille Seymour. The Redmen thought they got to stop. It was awfully close, Tim. The Redmen did a good job clamping down on the goal line, but Seymour is going to get in for the touchdown, and it's 6-0 Green Wave.
Well, I thought he was in the first time. I thought he was stopped short the second time, Ryan. This will be a good angle here as Seymour, it looked like initially there on that replay that he was down. It's tough to see where the ball was from that angle. But if that is down around his belly or his shoulder, he's not in the end zone.
Well, the Parma Redmen are going to have to go on ahead here. And they ran someone into the play late. And now the officials went on ahead and blew the clock to stop the play as someone walks off the field for the Redmen. I wonder if we have an equipment issue down there, bringing a player off the field. So now we'll have the PAT attempt with 5:35 to go in the first half on the legs of Shaquille Seymour. The Holy Name Green Wave have opened up a 7-0 lead. And Tim, on that big drive by the Parma Redmen, you saw plenty of Shaquille Seymour. What can the Redmen do to stop him, though?
Not a whole bunch. You can't stop him. It's hard to stop him. You just need to slow him down. We have a personal foul here on the end of this play, Ryan, on the end of the PAT against the Redmen, I believe.
Yeah, so someone on the Parma Redmen said something, and the Green Wave were already off the field, Tim, so I wonder if someone said something to an official that an official didn't like and caused the flag to be thrown.
The official made a personal foul sign, and then someone got pushed down at the end of the play, so I don't know who the flag is on. Initially, the initial signal was on Parma. So we'll see where it's marked off and where Holy Name's actually going to be kicking from.
Now, Holy Name's going to be kicking from the Redmen 45, so that's going to go against Parma. And this pretty much negates your opportunity at a return. Coach Saban wants to get good field position, and the Redmen are going to be starting this drive from their 20-yard line, as this ball should easily, by Marty Wallace, be put into the end zone for the touchback.
Now, if I was a coach in this situation, I have this argument every football season. Squib it. Make them return it. For the coverage team, it's your advantage because you put the ball on the ground, you never know. If a guy doesn't pick it up, you could potentially get the football, but 9 out of 10 times you see the team's booted deep into the end zone.
And there's a nice, strong boot there. Again, you can't return a ball out of the end zone in high school, so that's going to fall for a touchback, but
right,
I understand what you're saying, Tim. I guess it's just a risky play.
Or you pop it up high in that situation. You're going to get your coverage team down there and pin them deep. I mean, there has to be some kind of reason. I've never really, maybe we'll put that in our notes to try to ask a coach the next time that situation occurs. But to me, if you try to pop it up or squib it, you could potentially get them inside the 20 and win that field position battle.
Anyway, on that personal foul penalty against the Redmen, it's the 7th penalty assessed against Parma in the first half. Those are really piling up as they trail 7-0. Kyle Lyons going to come under center. The Redmen need to respond to the touchdown drive. This is going to be a handoff to Spear coming to the near side. Sebastian Spear, a pickup of about 4. That'll bring up 2nd and 6 for Parma. Or check that was Durham on the carry.
Yeah, Durham was with the carry. Well, the down marker had 4th down. It's now 2nd down, so the old theory of always trust the yard marker went awry there. But good job there by Durham of putting his head down and getting a few yards.
So that's going to bring up 2nd and 6 for the Redmen. Under center in an I formation again. It's going to be to Durham. Durham goes off the right side this time. With forward progress, Tim, he gets about 3 more, and that'll bring up 3rd and 3. And you can already tell, we talked about maybe rebuilding a rivalry. It already looks like, Tim, things getting a little bit chippy down there on the field of play.
Well, right. I mean, Holy Name and Parma, they know each other. I mean, it's, again, just a few mile radius here. That's the good thing about this new league, or this new conference, if you will, the Great Lakes Conference that these teams are in. There's not a lot of travel with all the teams in this conference.
Oh no, for the Green Wave, this field is closer to their school than their home field at North Royalton. There's a pass, that's going to be for 1st down. Anthony Menace, his first reception of the night, gets out to the 37-yard line. And I was wondering when we were going to get a chance to call his number, Tim, and he gets the big reception right there.
Well, Parma likes to do this little stop route. And as soon as that receiver turns around, you deliver the football. And then you fake like you're going to go towards the sideline, you turn it back upfield, and you get a few yards. We've seen that multiple times, ran on the outside by this Redmond receiving corps.
Anthony Menace now on the other side of the field. He's at the top of your screen on 1st and 10 for the Redmen from their own 37. This is a pass, and the pass came a tick too early as Griffin Magda wasn't ready for it yet. That'll bring up 2nd and 10, and there's a flag in the Parma backfield, and this will be the 8th penalty assessed against the Redmen today, Tim.
Unbelievable here. I mean, sometimes the old cliche, let the kids play. And that's what I think there was one here. And now I think the officiating crew is starting to hear it from the sidelines a little bit of the Redmond coaching staff.
I get a personal foul call here, I believe, against the Parma Redmen. So that's going to walk them back, and it looks like it was John Todd who got the penalty assessed against him, the senior, in his final home game. The Redmen going to be facing a 2nd down and 25, and Tim, not a lot in the old playbook for 2nd and 25.
2nd and 25, I mean, maybe expect a little bit of a draw here. You want to try to gain some positive yardage, so if you do have to punt, you can at least play the field position battle a little bit.
So here we go on 2nd and 25. Lyon is going to be ready out of the shotgun. Here's the snap. It's going to be a handoff, and there's just nothing there as it went into the hands of Bryson Durham. Durham's going to lose 2 more yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 27 for the Redmen.
Right, and that's the thing. Holy Name knows the exact same thing you and I were talking about is the draw there. Kyle Lyon is, I don't know if he was talking to the sideline there, if he wanted a different play call there, but he was getting pretty animated asking something to the Redmond coaching staff.
Well, this is a 3rd and 27. Here is Lyons going to take it out of the shotgun, and if it's a pass, it's going to be a short pass as the man in motion is McDaniels. Here's the snap rolling to the far sideline, fires. That pass could have been intercepted. It was a little bit behind McDaniels, and so it's a turnover on downs against the Parma Redmen.
Well, no, they're going to have to punt. But, I mean, you want to try to boot it away here a little bit. But all things considered, a little bit of a safe play. You'd like to see Kyle kind of put that on the numbers a little bit more, but it's tough when you get that 15-yard personal foul again after another positive play. 8 penalty flags have been thrown against the Redmen here in the first half.
It was Anthony Menace, the intended receiver, as Padinsky gets the punt off for the Redmen. It's going to be returned from the 47 and dropped. The ball is on the turf. Who's going to come up with it? There's a scrum for it down on the field. Either team could have come up with it. That's the second time an attempted punt return has been dropped. This one by Nick Jablonski. And it looks like the Green Wave fortunate, Tim, to come up with it at the end.
Wow. But you know what? I was just getting ready to say, you see the returner. He takes a little stutter step right there. I think he was trying to run the football before he saw a little bit of daylight open in front of him, and he decided maybe I'll start trying to make my move before he secured the football, and then it got on the carpet, and before you know it, he was so lucky that the only white shirt in the area was able to fall on top of it and keep possession for Holy Name. That could have been a momentum shifter. But now if you're the Green Wave, still plenty of time, Ryan, with 2:56 to move the ball down and try to put up 7 more.
And momentum's still on your side. They started their last drive at midfield and scored a touchdown. They get to start again at midfield. Carter back to pass, fires. It was a short pattern, and that pass is barely going to be caught down there, making the reception Mike Cutter, the junior.
Cutter, a good job again. Just a quick release there from Joe Carter as Cutter just ran his route and then looked for the opening, and a good delivery from his quarterback.
So the Green Wave working on their 2-minute offense on 2nd and 5. Here we go. It's a bubble screen. The pass is going to be batted away. Great job at the line of scrimmage by the Parma Redmen, Tim, to come in there and knock that one away.
If you can't get to the quarterback, what's the second rule? Get your hands up. And right there, that's what the Parma Redmen do. A good job there, really unabated to the quarterback, running free. I believe that was 43, Alex Bowser. Or 42, excuse me, Anthony Granata, who was able to get in there and get his hands up and knock it away.
One of the senior captains, Granata, makes a big play there. Here we go on 3rd and 5. It's going to be a delay handoff to Seymour, and Seymour just didn't have much running room. Good job of contained that time by the Redmond linebackers. And this is probably, you would think it was 4-down territory, but no, again, Holy Name is going to go on ahead, Tim, and bring their special teams unit onto the field.
Well, you're going to play field position. I don't blame them here either. I mean, again, you'd like to see this one land short of the end zone. You just don't want to boom it into the end zone. You want to try maybe a coffin corner and try to pin them deep in their own territory, and then hope Parma might make a mistake and you get an easy turnover and be on the doorstep.
Now, Marty Wallace, we were told, was just the place kicker before the game, but it's Marty Wallace out there to get this punt off, and Wallace does get a line drive punt. Layden's going to return it from his own 10, trying to go to the far side of the field. Good job by the coverage unit of the Green Wave to get back there. Layden gets a couple. That's going to be about it. So the Redmen will have to start this drive from their own 12. Field position has not been Parma's friend in the second half of this game.
Well, Layden there was a very returnable punt, kind of a line drive. Watch him. I think he should have kept going to the outside. He decided to try to do a stutter step or stop. If he goes to the outside, who knows? Maybe he gets to the 15, close to the 20. Instead, he's a few yards shy of the 15-yard line.
So the Redmen will start from their own 14-yard line. 1st and 10, 1:37 to go. Let's see if the Redmen just keep the ball on the ground here and content to go into the locker room down 7-0. We'll see. This is going to be a handoff coming to the near side of the field. As again on the carry, Bryson Durham, and Durham gets ahead to the 21-yard line. So the pickup of 7 will bring up 2nd and 3 from the Redmen. And Tim, do you expect to see it kept on the ground here down the end of this quarter?
I do, and I wouldn't expect anything through the air. I mean, maybe if you reel off a big run and you get over the 50-yard line with about 30 seconds left or so, you'll call a timeout and take a shot or two. But anything outside of that, I think you're going to be content going down or going into the locker room only down a touchdown.
Green Wave get the ball to start the second half. The last thing you want to do is turn it over here and give it back to them. So the conservative play is the smart play. That should be a first down run for Durham all the way across the 25-yard line. And the Redmen will have to run one more play, Tim, before the clock runs out on the first half of action. And it's been a defensive scuffle so far between these two teams.
A lot of penalty markers have been thrown and also a few turnovers. So it hasn't been the most pretty half of football, but very entertaining back and forth. A lot of defense. If you're a defensive fan, you've seen a lot of it here in this first half of play.
From the shotgun, here's Lyon. This is going to be the QB keep. He comes to the outside. Lyon has some room. Lyon across the 35 to the 36. That's enough for first down. With the clock continuing to run, you'd imagine that will bring the end to the first half. And Kyle Lyon a little slow to get up at the end of that run, Tim.
Yeah, this is, for Kyle Lyon, it looked like it was a broken play, and then he tries to kind of come out to the outside and makes that last cut up the field. And I think maybe it's, hopefully for Kyle, it's just a little bit of a turf scrape or something, but that did not look good initially. He started to grab his ankle, and this is the big-time quarterback here for the Parma Redmen in a 7-0 game with 30 seconds left or so, just trying to run the clock out, and right now he's on the field.
And Tim, Kyle Lyon has done such a good job maturing and evolving as a quarterback as this season has gone on. Saw some time last year as a sophomore, and between that time he would see out there, and this season I remember Coach Saban telling us at the beginning of the year just the amount of growth he had seen in him, and that growth has continued for Kyle Lyon as a decision maker and a game manager down there at the quarterback position in this his junior year, and hopefully Kyle Lyon is all right.
Yeah, and remember also he's a basketball player, a big-time basketball player who's going to be heavily relied upon for Coach Durkin on the basketball floor, and now you see a bunch of his teammates trying to help him over towards the bench here so they can take a look at it. Hopefully it doesn't look anything initial to be where they have to bring out EMTs or anything like that, but maybe it's a sprain of some kind. You hope it's nothing too severe there for Kyle. He's just uncomfortable now and a little bit of pain.
So the Parma Redmen are going to have to mix things up on offense now, and as you said, hopefully just a stinger. Hopefully Lions can return in the second half. Here's the snap. This is going to be a QB draw, and that's going to be enough for a first down out to midfield as they went on ahead and got that football to Nicholas Lord, the junior, 6'1", 175. And so they just lined up. He's on the roster as a running back, Tim, and they just lined up a running back to pick up the first down. Now we're going to go on ahead, and we're going to get a timeout taken with 13 seconds left. So we go from thinking maybe the clock's going to run out in this half to now a timeout being taken with the ball at midfield for the Parma Redmen, Tim, and 13 seconds to go. Do you try to see if you could maybe get another big run forward? And, we talked about the wind is at the Redmen back right now. Maybe even attempt a field goal if you could get into range.
13 seconds. Remember, clock stops on a first down. So you really have two plays here that you have to work with. Maybe it's a quick slant. They've tried those quick slants over the middle that has been open a few times. Problem is with Lyon out of the game, I don't know who's going to be slinging the ball or if it's just going to be kind of line up and run up the middle and hope to get a block and see if you can bust one.
The Redmen also, Tim, they have a timeout left in their arsenal as well, as the umpire was just in there and he was saying something to John Todd down there on the sideline. So Todd having something said to him. John Todd saw a personal foul called against him earlier in this game as well, and that time the official was right in the Redmen huddle saying something to John Todd, so we're not obviously sure what that discussion was about. But still out there at the quarterback position is going to be Nicholas Lord on 1st and 10 for the Redmen. Here's the snap. It's another draw for Lord. Lord up the middle. Lord's got himself a first down. Lord still on his feet, pushing the pile down to the 36-yard line. And the clock is going to stop with 3 seconds left. Tim, keeping that run alive, really burned a lot of time off the clock. The Redmen are going to have to use their last timeout here, and there's only 3 seconds left, so I think with where you are in field position as we get another look at a big run by Lord. The draw play has been open for him both times for a big carry. I mean, where that ball is spotted, Tim, there's no way you're going to be able to kick a field goal here. It'd be a 53-yarder. So what's the decision here if you're the Parma Redmen?
Well, maybe it's time to bust open the old trick play book. Maybe, you could see a potential hook and ladder, a couple of laterals coming up here. I mean, or you see a knee. I mean, there's a lot of things you can potentially run here. Now, you can afford to get a little bit aggressive because you are on your side of the field. If you were down, if you were down with your back against your own end zone, you're on the Holy Name, the correct side of the field. You're trying to score. If you're on the other side, this is an obvious kneel-down situation. But here, you never know. Maybe you'll throw it up, see if you can get a pass interference call or something against the defense, and then you'll have another crack at it.
So here we go, and now the Redmen having trouble getting their play call in as this time, and now they're going to get a late guy in. The Redmen only had 10 players on the field. This time, DiDonato is ready to go on ahead. It looks like and take the snap or check that. That's Post down there ready to take the snap. Post takes it. Post back to pass. Fires deep down the far sideline. That pass is going to be incomplete. So this time they go to Mark Post, the sophomore, on the depth chart as a running back. 5'11", 200 pounds, and the pass falls incomplete.
Wow. But tell you what, nice arm. He was able to get it down to the end zone. They had a play ran for it. Unfortunately, it comes up a little bit short, but they took their shot. You can't fault them for that.
Well, the first half is coming to an end with our score. The Holy Name Green Wave 7, the Parma Redmen nothing. The halftime show is next on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to high school football action here on Parma Area Community Television. Ryan Radke, Tim O'Brien, 7-0. The Green Wave leave the Parma Redmen at halftime. And Tim, a defensive battle between these two teams tonight.
Yeah, 7-0 is really, we expected a little bit more offense, but the defense has been stealing the show.
Defense has been stealing the show, and we'll see that as we take a look, Tim, at the tail of the tape between these two teams.
Yeah, take a look. I mean, rushing yards favoring the Redmen, 137 yards to 114. Each team with a fumble, and they each lost a fumble. Penalties, 8 for 85 for the Redmen, just 1 for 10 for the Green Wave. So that, to me, has been the story.
And, Tim, you look at the penalties, and you're exactly right. Without those penalties, Parma, at least on their first drive, would have had a good shot at getting into the end zone.
Yeah, and getting some points. And it's just tough that way. And if you're the Redmen, you need to find a way to keep really the handle on, not only the handle on the ball, but you need to find a way to keep yourself from being penalized and shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, 3 of those penalties, personal fouls against the Redmen. Those were costly penalties. Let's take a look at the replays from the first half of today's game, Tim. First of all, we talked about the fumbles, and this was a good play by the Parma defense to recover a fumble here and create a turnover.
Yeah, it sure was. And, you see the handoff, and then all of a sudden the ball pop loose, and Troy Duzman, I believe, was the one who fell on this. And that was a big momentum swing for Parma because, remember, the backup running back, Marquise Thompson, the sophomore, was in the game at that point, giving a little bit of a break to Shaquille Seymour, and they came up with the loose ball.
Seymour, by the way, was never off the field again for a snap for the Green Wave after that fumble. And speaking of Seymour, we'll take a look at him here. He put together a great drive, and Tim, he capped it off with the power run here.
He did, power run. Watch, initially hitting the backfield, but then just powers his way over the goal line. And that's our only score we have to this point. You added the extra point at 7-0 Green Wave.
Yeah, you talk about it, he dragged 2 defenders 2 yards to get into the end zone on that play right there. Power run right there by the Holy Name Green Wave, Seymour, on that one.
Yeah, and, that was third down. That was a play where you're just going to give it to your big-time running back and say, go get us a touchdown, boy. And he sure did. He was able to grab it and run into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, we're going to step aside right now. When we come back, it'll be time to kick off the second half between the Parma Redmen and the Holy Name Green Wave. It's Holy Name up 7-0 here on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to high school football action here on Parma Area Community Television. I'm Ryan Radke alongside Tim O'Brien. Third quarter of action about to get underway here as 7-0 is the score. The Green Wave leading the Parma Redmen. And Tim, the Redmen will have to kick off, so it's an important drive for Parma to come in and really shut off this Holy Name attack.
Right, and if you know what though, they were able to be able to go ahead and do that for the majority of the first half, was basically shut down this Green Wave attack. You know, Shaquille Seymour has had a good game, but he hasn't busted that big run yet, Ryan, which we've expected him to do. Yeah, he has the one rushing touchdown, but overall, all things considered, not bad from the Redmen.
And so here we go. This is going to be a return for the Green Wave. We're going to see a shove. They're going to get out to a 42-yard line. There's a member of the Holy Name Green Wave coverage team, or I should say return team, down at the 29-yard line. And Tim, we saw right before the kickoff of the second half, the officials come to midfield with a captain from each of the teams, maybe trying to settle things down on the field of play here.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think it's been an overall calm game. There hasn't been too much chippiness. It's just been a lot of personal fouls that have gone against the Redmen. I mean, I think Coach Saban will be the first one to tell you, hey, you know, we've done some things in this game that we should not be doing. We need to be more disciplined. On a side note, coming out of the locker room at halftime, we saw Kyle Lyon, Ryan, on crutches. So it looks like his night is done.
Yeah, so a tough night for the Parma Redmen in that regard. Hopefully Kyle Lyon's going to be all right, as you talked about. He's had just a great junior season for the Parma Redmen, and even he missed the end of this game, and even if he misses next week, Tim, I still think Kyle Lyon, a lot of growth, and I think Kyle Lyon is going to be setting up to have a big senior year next year here at Parma.
Right, and at this point, you know, if that is a severe sprain, I'm not speculating. I haven't heard anything. You know, I don't know if it's broken per se. I mean, he's on crutches. I think they're just taking a little bit of precaution here. It is iced up there over on the trainer's table.
Well, this is going to be Joe Carter from the shotgun. We got a flag, and we're going to have an offsides penalty against Parma. So the theme of the first half immediately comes back in the second half. The 9th penalty against the Redmen today. That's going to give 5 yards to the Holy Name Green Wave. Now they're going to start this drive at their own 47, so good field position for Holy Name here as well.
It sure is, and the backup quarterback for Parma, James Overby, is taking some snaps over on the sideline.
As here we go, back to pass. Carter fires a bomb deep downfield. That one was almost intercepted. Nearly getting in there to take it away was Andrew Shields. He's had a pretty good day in the secondary for the Redmen. The intended receiver was Harhalos. That's going to bring up a second down and 5, I should say, for Holy Name.
Shields, a terrific play. Watch this. This is coverage 101 as he was able to back up, then make a nice jump for the football and was able just to bat it away, and he knows it when he gets up. He had a good job there to swat it away. Terrific play in the defensive backfield.
So here we go. This is going to be a 2nd and 5 for the Green Wave from the shotgun. Here we go. It's going to be a handoff to Seymour. Seymour crosses midfield. That's going to be enough for a first down to the 47-yard line. And so the Green Wave will move the chains, getting the ball back to Seymour. And he's the guy that's been carrying this offensive load for Holy Name in this game.
Right, and again, he hasn't busted that big run yet. He did a good job on the touchdown run, dragging people. But here, yards after contact, Ryan, we've been saying that all night, able to hit the pile and keep on moving.
As here we go on 1st and 10, play action, back to pass Carter. Carter across the middle, pass incomplete, and again, good coverage by the Redmen. The receiver for the Green Wave, Cutter, wanted a flag, but that was good, clean coverage down there by Hayden, Tim.
It sure was, and again, running right with them. The Redmen right now are not being faked out on this play action, which is what the run has tried to set up here. So you're going to have to keep running the ball if you're Holy Name.
Good play there by Colin Layden to slap that ball away. Good coverage. So here we go, 2nd and 10. Let's see if the ball finds Seymour's hands here. And there it is, into his hands. He's got a hole. Seymour is going to have a first down as he cuts to the outside. Seymour to the 30 as he gets around a tackle to the 20. Seymour to the 15. He stepped out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Tim, one thing you could be sure of, a leg tackle is not going to do it against Seymour.
Not at all, as he's very shifty, makes a couple good moves, and then is down the sideline. You know, I'm sure he's got a lot of attaboys over on the sideline. I mean, he's done a terrific job of just putting his head down and moving forward. You know, big-time touchdown in the first half. And remember, this guy was not 100% healthy really until this week.
So here we go. This is going to be 1st and 10 from the 19 for the Green Wave. Ready to take this one from the shotgun is Carter. Carter With the linebacker showing a little blitz for the Redmen, takes the snap. Here it's going to be a handoff, and Seymour's not going to get anywhere. That time the linebacking core filled that gap quickly, and they were able to bring down Seymour. He does pick up a couple of yards. Tough to pin Seymour back for a loss, Tim, but if you could hold him to 1 or 2 yard gains, that's a victory for the Redmen.
Right. You need to just hold them to those short gains, and then hopefully hold them to 3 yard gains, and you force them to punt.
Seymour takes a breather. First time we've seen Marquise Thompson since the fumble. Back to pass. Carter fires. That was just a short, quick curl route. Going to be brought to the 15-yard line for a pickup of 3. That's going to bring up a third and manageable situation here for the Holy Name Green Wave.
Sure is. It's a big-time hit at the end of that. Watch this racing in here. There's a little bit of a hit by the Parma defender who gets the brunt of it right there. Comes in with his helmet, and then he kind of falls back a little bit. Keep an eye out for that to see. I believe that was Troy Duzman who might be coming off the field.
Jeff Herco was the man with the reception for the Green Wave. Here's Carter on 3rd and 5. Carter trying to draw that Parma defense off sides. Now he takes a snap on play action. He's in trouble. He fires as he's hit, and the pass is completed over the middle but dropped. And that was a big hit by the linebacker for the Parma Redmen. As levying that big hit there was Hayden, or I should say Layden, and that's going to be 4th down.
Well, very close, though, too, to a taunting penalty here. Watch this. The catch is made, a big-time hit from Colin Layden, but then watch afterwards. He almost turns. I don't know if he goes over the receiver, but that's a no-no. He's lucky the hanky didn't come out there. That would have been a personal foul.
2 big plays for Colin Layden. Now we have an attempt at a 32-yard field goal, and that one is up, and that one is true for Marty Wallace. So with 9:58 to go here in the 3rd quarter, the Holy Name Green Wave have a 10-0 lead. And Tim, the flag is hanging limp. That wind died down, enabling an easy field goal kick for Marty Wallace, who is the senior from what we've seen, Tim. Very good kicker for these Holy Name Green Wave.
He is, and that's such an asset in high school, Ryan, is when you have a kicker who can, kick the ball into the end zone on the kickoffs, or have a 30-yard field goal that you can boot through. It gives you another weapon. You don't have to go down and get a touchdown every time, but you can still get points on the board, and it's exactly what Holy Name has done here. Remember, they're 5-3. They're looking to go 6-3, and potentially setting up a showdown next week for a chance at a conference title, depending on how the chips fall. So we'll see how everything shakes out, but right now, Holy Name still in the thick of the playoff picture.
And Tim, it's a 10-0 game at this point in time with 9:58 left to play, and the 3rd quarter. And the Parma Redmen, they're down by 2 scores now. They're going to have backup quarterback in, but still, they don't need to panic. Everyone just needs to try to do their part. No one needs to do everything on their own. They're still in this game, as this is going to be Colin Layden. Breaks a tackle on the return, and Layden is going to be pushed out of bounds at the 37-yard line. So a nice return there by Colin Layden to get this drive started out for the Parma Redmen.
And the Parma faithful are asking for why wasn't there a flag on a late hit there, and I have no idea. That looked like a very late hit out of bounds, and wow. I mean, take a look at this. After the play, when it's all over on the sideline, right there, the player is out of bounds. I guess it wasn't too late. It just looked a little bit worse than it was, but you see all the players asking right there, where's the flag, but all things considered, I think the referee staff got that one correct.
Yeah, good no call there. Here we go on play action. This is going to be a handoff to the right side. On the carry that time was Durham, and in at quarterback we saw him make a throw. Mark Post at the end of the half, he made a throw. He's a 5'11", 200-pound sophomore, and he was down there. He was working out alongside James Overby, and it was Post who took the first snap out of the quarterback position.
Yeah, I think we'll see a couple different personnel changes in at the quarterback position here in the second half. But Ryan, real quick on the officials, that's a tough job. I mean, no matter what call you make, someone's going to be disappointed.
Now it's Lord in there at the quarterback position, and this is Lord on the keeper. We saw Lord on 2 keepers at the end of the first half out of the quarterback position. He's going to pick up a first down at the 44, and Tim, you're taking a look at, Post and Lord, they're both listed as running backs, and we've seen them both. You wonder if almost this is going to be the offense for the Redmen for the rest of the game.
It's going to have to be, but again, it's that read option that Lord has had 3 successful QB keeps with, that he was able to go up the gut and have a nice chunk of yardage.
So Lord is going to stay out there. And Lord is going to be under center, or I should say out of the shotgun, as he's going to put two backs in the backfield with him. 1st and 10 for the Redmen on the Holy Name 43-yard line. Here's the snap. This time it's going to be a handoff coming to the near side of the field. Durham still on his feet. Durham loses the football. The ball is on the turf, and the initial indicators would be the Green Wave have a fumble recovery. Durham loses the football, and Holy Name picks it up at the 37-yard line. The man who recovered the football, Shane Welsh, the senior, with a big fumble recovery. Second fumble lost by the Redmen today. Durham just loses the football at the end of the run here, Tim.
Welsh was a little shaken up, but that just popped up, and then that was a tip drill. Welsh able to kind of pick it up and recover the football, and now it's a 10-0 game. If the Green Wave were to go down and score a touchdown here, that could be a very big score.
It was Nick Jablonski who came up with the strip. Jablonski definitely got in there and stripped it away, Tim, and then recovering it was Shane Welsh. So here come the Green Wave. Carter with a handoff to Seymour. Seymour spins out of trouble in the backfield, and Seymour is able to pick up a yard, so Shaquille Seymour able to use his weapons to make something out of nothing, and that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 8 for Holy Name.
He even makes a 2-yard run look fantastic. Watch this. As he's able to get it, you think he's bottled up? Nope. A little Braxton Miller spin move, and then up the field he goes.
So Seymour is in at running back again on 2nd and 8, standing behind Carter. Carter hands it off to Seymour. Seymour runs into some trouble that time, and how about that defensive stand by the Redmond defensive line, Tim? They know it's coming, and they were keyed up for it and ready to get the stop, and that's exactly what they did. Looks like John Todd leading the charge in the middle of the field.
Well, you got to know number 7's going to get a steady diet the rest of the game, and now it looks like it's a passing down. Don't be surprised if you try to sneak a draw play here if you're Holy Name.
Seymour was underneath 6th grade jerseys at the end of that run, Tim. The Redmen swarmed to the football on that play. So here we go. No gain. It's going to be 3rd and 8 for the Green Wave from their own 39-yard line. Ready to take this one from the shotgun. Carter with a quick screen pass coming across the middle. Pass is going to be complete, and Tim, that's nowhere near enough for a 1st down, so that's going to have to bring the punt unit on the field for the Holy Name Green Wave, as coming in there and making the catch on the reception was Harhalos, but here comes the punting unit for Holy Name. Good defensive stand by the Redmen here.
Well, we've been talking about the special teams trying to play a big role in this game. As you take a look at that slant play that didn't go anywhere, but this would be a big time here for a nice return. Colin Layden back there. He's had a few nice returns so far this evening. Let's see if he can break one and get over the midfield stripe.
Layden at about his own 25 as a strong punt gets off. Colin Layden is going to let it hit, and it takes a Parma-friendly bounce inside the 25 to the 26-yard line. So the Redmen will take that hop there, Tim.
That close away from being blocked. Watch, on the punt, that was so close again to just almost getting tipped. Watch this here. Good penetration by Parma. Oh, just missed there. That would have been a big-time play. Now, you think punting is one of the easiest things to do in football. Just ask the University of Michigan how easy it is to get a punt away in a critical situation. It's tougher than you think.
So here we go. This is going to be 1st and 10 for the Parma Redmen from their own 26-yard line, and take a look at who's in at quarterback this time, ready to take the snap for the Redmen. I think we're going to see all kinds of different bodies down here for the rest of the game. Here we go. It's going to be a direct snap, and it's going to be a carry to the near side, and this is going to be a 1st down and more. Nick Lord down the near sideline, spins across the 40, inside the 40, 35 to the 33. Tim, this direct snap offense to Nick Lord, it's not something that the Green Wave were able to prepare for it. These big holes, you're wondering if that's a result of not seeing it on film.
Right, sometimes that's what a team has to do, so is just kind of change up their philosophy. Obviously, with Kyle Lyon out of the game, you don't know if Lord is going to eventually pass the ball. You always have to be prepared for that, but so far he's been taking the direct snap, making the correct read, picking the correct lane, and getting a big-time gain or two.
1st and 10 for the Redmen from the Holy Name 32-yard line. It's going to be a handoff going to the far side of the field. Durham's going to get ahead to the 26-yard line. So he's had a good game today, and that's going to bring up 2nd and short for the Redmen.
Well, there again, you think Lord might be keeping the football. He decides to give it to the running back, and that's that read option that we've been seeing gaining more and more popularity, filtering down from the college level down here into the high school ranks.
So Durham is checked out of the game, and checking into the game now is going to be DiDonato, as this is going to be Lord again, ready to take the snap here on 2nd and 4 from the Green Wave 26-yard line. Maybe the best chance the Redmen have had all night long. Here's the snap. It's going to be direct to Lord. Lord coming to the near sideline, throws a stiff arm across the 25 to the 24-yard line. He picks up 2, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 2 here for the Parma Redmen.
Well, I don't know how strong of a leg Parma has to try to boot it through potentially for a field goal. This might be 4-down territory. We'll see exactly what the decision will be if we get to 4th down. Hopefully, if you're the Redmen, you can just pick it up here and keep the sticks moving.
It would have to be a 42-yard field goal attempt from here for the Parma Redmen. So I would imagine as well, Tim, this is going to be 4-down territory, as this is a 3rd and 3 for the Parma Redmen. Now Lord still in there at quarterback. DiDonato in the backfield. He puts a man in motion. Here's the snap. It's going to be a draw for Lord again. Lord's got a 1st down. Takes a big hit as he crosses the 20 to the 19. Now another hit. A flag flies in late, Tim. And what do you think we're going to see as the penalty call on this one?
I think that's going to be a personal foul. I think you got the quarterback a little bit too high there. Even though he was a runner and kind of falling down, it might have been helmet to helmet. That should go on the Green Wave.
So we'll wait and see what the call is. If it goes against the Green Wave, it'll just be the 2nd penalty assessed against Holy Name tonight. Here's the replay, Tim.
Yeah, you see Nick Lord come down, and yeah, he gets tripped up a little bit. It might have been that low low hit there, or potentially the extracurricular activity after that. We'll see.
If it's the extracurricular activity after that, Tim, that might go against the Redmen. We'll wait and see, and it is going to be a personal foul against the Holy Name Green Wave, and I think it's going to be initially what we thought the call was, Tim.
Did he just kick him out of the game? Did I see that correctly?
It sure looked like it. Now, yeah, I think he was explaining the call, Tim, maybe, and now Coach Saban wants to come out there for an explanation. The Parma Redmen are going to get this football marked up to the 11-yard line. And one thing's for sure, Tim, there's been a lot of dramatics. It's been a little chippy down there on the field of play between these two teams tonight.
It sure has been, and now they're going to go over and talk to Holy Name's sideline and kind of explain it what it was. I don't think there was any ejections, but that was definitely an odd signal there by the referee. It was a hit to the head, and that was what the personal foul was for.
I think Coach Wondolowski wants to know where the call is on that late hit, the extracurriculars you saw, Tim. The call goes against Holy Name, just the 2nd penalty against them today. 1st and 10 from the 14. Here's the snap. Nick Lord runs into the end zone for a touchdown. It's an 11-yard touchdown run for Nicholas Lord. And Tim, the Parma offense certainly looks good with Nicholas Lord at the quarterback position.
It's just a little wrinkle that has been able to work to Parma's advantage. Obviously, look how big that hole was. And if you're Holy Name, when you see 24, you got to expect a run. But again, you don't know if he's going to hand it off or he's going to keep it. He has made the correct decision time and time again. Good job by Nick Lord.
Yeah, that hole, Tim, was as wide as the screen there on that replay, and the PAT attempt is going to hit the left upright and then take a favorable bounce through. So it hits the upright on the side and rolls through. So that counts. It's 10-7, Tim.
And another penalty on the PAT. You talk about a potential start of a rivalry game, Ryan. This might be it. As you watch the replay here on the run, just look how big of a hole that was for Nick Lord. He was able to get into the end zone, and then the PAT was successful. So we have a personal foul that's going to go against Parma.
Well, you know, Tim, and this is what we said. So this is going to be assessed on the kickoff. So the Redmen, I'd imagine, now are going to have to, I don't know if you kick this from your own 25 here or if it's assessed after the return. That's for the officials to determine. They're talking to Holy Name again. Tim, here's a look at this PAT where you'll get to see the ball hit the upright on the left side and just take the luckiest of bounces off that upright around the pole and through.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. You know, you see it hit the pole and you wonder, okay, where's it going to come down? You see it go through, but a little bit of a nice bounce there for the Redmen.
Yeah, it almost looks like the way that football was spinning up there, it hit it at just the right angle to wrap the pole instead of fall off of it. Either way, Tim, the Parma Redmen, they're going to kick off now, and you know, so many times momentum starts with a big play on the defense. Now you wonder if holding Holy Name to that field goal might not have helped. This is the 10th penalty against the Parma Redmen. It'll cause them to have to kick off from their own 25. But, Tim, you'd imagine if you want to secure momentum here, if you're the Redmen, you need to ask that defense to step up, get a quick stop here and get your offense back on the field.
Right, which is going to be tough because most likely the Green Wave are going to have some pretty good field position, again, after this 15-yard penalty.
Podinsky is going to be ready to kick this one away again from his own 25-yard line after the penalty.
You know, if there wasn't a penalty, I would say maybe you try to get a little tricky and try to maybe squib it and try to recover it, but you're going to boot this one deep.
Yeah, kick it from your own 25. That would be risky business. It's going to be returned to the 30, across the 40. There's some space crossing midfield. A flag comes in from the near sideline, so away from the play. Eventually brought down in Redmond territory, but hold on, Tim. There's a flag. It's all the way down on the near side of the field at the 43-yard line. We'll have to wait and see what this is going to be.
Yeah, imagine that's in the area of a block in the back.
Well, the Redmond at least initially signaling, and it is. It's going to be a penalty against the Holy Name Green Wave. Let's see if we can get it here, Tim.
They call it holding, so it'll be holding on the return team, which will be, back them up a little bit for Holy Name.
And that was holding again on the near side of the field. That was a nice return, too, that's taken back as Harhalos does a good job there. Just gets into Parma territory. Unfortunately, the holding penalty, third penalty against Holy Name today, so 13 penalties in this game. 10 of them have gone Parma's way, but now 3 against Holy Name. And, Tim, 2 big ones against the Green Wave here in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, and those are the ones you want to avoid. The 5-yard penalties you can live with. The 10 and 15-yarders are the ones that give you headaches.
Pass to the outside. That's going to be complete on the far sideline. A first down. It's going to move the chains again on the reception. Jeff Herco, his second catch of the night.
Good job there by Holy Name to do a kind of a quick bubble screen, almost use Seymour as a decoy, quick bubble screen and up the field for the quick first down.
So the Green Wave on 1st and 10 from their own 45-yard line, and Carter out of the shotgun, the sophomore quarterback with Seymour standing in the backfield, takes the snap, gives to Seymour. Seymour's got nothing there. He's going to try to bounce to the outside. He almost turns the corner, and a nice baby touchdown saving stop made by Andrew Shields, Tim. It's still a pickup of almost 8 for a big pickup there for Seymour. It's going to bring up 2nd and about 3 for the Green Wave.
Yeah, and we'll see exactly here again. Bouncing it quickly to the outside. The first guy, I don't think I've seen the first tackler take him down yet tonight.
Carter has plenty of pocket. His pass is going to be intercepted. It's picked off by Carlin Layden across midfield to the 40. Layden to the 30, to the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Colin Layden. An interception return for a touchdown. Tim, he's flirted with a couple of picks tonight. He gets a big one there.
And you know what? Wow, Layden just watched the eyes of the quarterback, and you would think that Kyle Lyon being injured wouldn't be a quote-unquote spark, but so far this team has had the momentum after the pistol, or if you will, the read option, and then this big-time interception down the sideline and all the way into the end zone. Colin Layden, a terrific job, and now the Redmen have the lead.
It's a 67-yard interception return for a touchdown for Colin Layden, and that almost got blocked. The PAT is good, so it's 14-10. The Redmen have the lead, and it's been a complete change in the momentum between these two teams here in this third quarter. And again, it all started, I think, with the defense managing to hold to that field goal. We'll get a look again here, Tim, at the interception.
Right, and just you could see him the whole way. He just jumped that route, made a terrific decision, and then had open field in front of him, got one big block, did a good job here of breaking off a leg tackle, and stayed in bounds and got into the end zone. Terrific job by Layden, the junior. Yeah, he's got another season back here in Parma as well.
Now, Layden back there playing center field, Tim, on that play there. And, Carter had plenty of time in the pocket. The pocket held. You almost wonder if he didn't see Layden because he threw that pass over the middle, and Layden playing center field. It's going to be his job to come to the football wherever it's thrown, and the route just got jumped. And you're wondering if maybe that's a read that the coaches will sit down and help the sophomore quarterback out with this week in practice for the Green Wave.
I think it's got to be because not only that, but you're going to help the sophomore out. But if you're Colin Layden and you're Parma, you're going to look at that tape over and over again and try to mimic exactly what he did there, which was almost a little bit of a decoy where he let the sophomore kind of think he was dropping back in coverage, and then as soon as the ball was released, he broke forward and was able to pick it up and get the interception.
Here are the Redmen trying to do something fancy, and a fair catch was called for at the 37-yard line, and that was an extremely wise play down there by Anthony Mercury, a junior. And, Tim, so many times at the high school level, you see those upbacks want to be the hero. He immediately calls for a fair catch here. That's just a really good football decision.
Right, and that's good coaching. I mean, that stems from your coaching staff. You have to be able to think quickly on your feet. A terrific decision there. You just take what the defense gives you. You have a big-time back. No reason of trying to go ahead and make something out of nothing there. And so now you give your offense pretty good field position.
At the 39, Carter, fresh off throwing that interception from the shotgun. This is going to be a give to Seymour. There was a big hole up the middle. It closed quickly, though. Good job by the Redmen to recover after initially letting that hole open up. That's going to bring up 2nd and short, and a flag comes in way after the play again, Tim.
That's going to be on Holy Name for a personal foul after the play. Is getting a shove in there was Andrew Harlos on one of the Redmen. I believe that was Andrew Shields down there, who's been a pest the whole night in the defensive backfield.
4th personal foul against Holy Name, and Tim, the Green Wave were playing such a fundamentally sound game, and something changed. You wonder if maybe that big touchdown drive by Nicholas Lord, something changed though. Now all of a sudden Holy Name's committed 3 penalties. They have the interception that they've thrown, and all of a sudden it was a nice clean game for the Green Wave. Has kind of gotten a little bit out of control for them here in the 3rd quarter.
A little bit, yeah, and you got to try to reel it in a little bit. Yeah, and see if you can just get back to your bread and butter, get number 7 the football a few more times, see if you can get him in some space. He's still a big play threat here. You're only down 4.
2nd and 25, here we go. This is going to be a late handoff to Seymour coming to the outside. He can't get around the tacklers, and Seymour is going to be dropped for a loss. The first time Seymour's taken a loss today, and that's going to be a big loss, Tim, as that's going to be a loss of 6. It's all the way back at the 20-yard line. Look at this great job by the Redmen in contain.
Wow, good job there, as now you're starting to cue in on number 7. Remember the sophomore quarterback here for the Green Wave just threw an interception. So, you got to be thinking, if you're Joe Carter, in this situation, just make a safe pass. You can't afford a turnover on this side of the field.
Andrew Shields again on the stop. 3rd and 29, back to pass. Here's a short pass. Pass is going to be complete to the 20, up to the 30-yard line. That's going to be Quinn Alberti, his first catch of the night, but that's nowhere near enough. It's going to bring the punt unit on the field. It's just enough to maybe give you a little bit more chance, but Tim, how the tables have turned in this 3rd quarter.
Well, watch that pressure there. Big-time pressure from the Redmen. A nice block to pick up a few, but this gives yourself a little bit of space to punt, but if you're Parma, look who's back there. Colin Layden, the guy who just had the big-time interception return. Let's see if he can have lightning strike twice here in a matter of a few minutes.
Colin Layden, the junior, his last home game this year, and so far, Tim, as you said, interception return for a touchdown, and he's not going to try to return this punt, and it rolls nicely for the Green Wave all the way down to the 27-yard line, and initially hitting around the 40, so it got a nice little roll. And that's where the Parma Redmen offense is going to take over. And as we look down there to see who's going to come out and be ready to take the quarterback position this time for Parma, it is still Nicholas Lord. So this is interesting, Tim, is, we saw Overby warming up on the sideline. We saw Post making a couple throws on the sideline, and it's been Nicholas Lord who's been down there in this 3rd quarter, and why not with the way things have gone?
Right, exactly. I mean, right now you have all the momentum. You've been calling 24's number. Just let him go out there and do his thing.
Nicholas Lord, a junior, takes the snap. Here we go. It's going to be a handoff, and that's going to be blown up in the backfield. It was given to Durham. Nowhere for Bryson Durham to go as Durham loses 3 yards. It's going to bring up 2nd and 13 for the Redmen.
That's the read option there. I think Lord would have wanted to keep it. As you saw the defense bite on the run. They knew the run was coming. It's just so hard to wait to the very last second to know who has the football. That's what makes the read option so effective. And so far, Nick Lord has been doing that terrific. Just might have made the wrong decision on that one.
So here we go. This is going to be 2nd and 14, and Lord is going to be ready to take a shotgun snap. DiDonato in the backfield with him this time. Lord is ready. Here's the snap. This is going to be the QB keeper. Lord's got some space on the near side. He crosses the 30. Nicholas Lord ahead to the 35. That's going to be a pickup, Tim, of 12. It'll bring up 3rd and 1 for the Redmen.
And if you're the Green Wave, you got to make an adjustment. You got to figure out a way here and that you can try to shut this down, as the snap was a little bit high. Good blocking here by Parma the whole way.
I mean, Nick Lord's got some great field vision there too, Tim. He turned upfield exactly where he saw the hole, and for a guy who doesn't get to line up in the backfield very often, when he was using the offense, it was on a lot of sweep runs a lot of the time. He's got a great field vision there from behind the offensive line. Here's the snap on 3rd and short. This is the QB keeper. It's going to be a first down for Lord. Lord loses the football. The ball is on the turf, and it was picked up by the Redmen. So the Redmen recover the fumble, and it gets them out to midfield. That looks like Anthony Menace was on the spot to save the day. And Tim, maybe not the best way you want to pick up all that yardage, but you'll take it if you're the Redmen.
Yeah, it was scripted. That's exactly what you wanted to do there. Is I don't think that ball ever hit the ground, which is what made it, what made the progress able to keep continuing, because technically you can't advance a fumble. So you're able to kind of pick that up and go with it if you're Menace. Almost a play where he was able to rumble for quite a nice gain, but instead, right now, the momentum is all on Parma's side with that read option, Ryan.
And the 3rd quarter has come to an end. The Redmen score 2 touchdowns and take the lead. 4th quarter coming up next on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to high school football action on Parma Area Community Television. Ryan Radke, Tim O'Brien. The Parma Redmen with a 14-10 lead over their new conference rival, the Holy Name Green Wave, as we enter the 4th quarter. And the Redmen have the ball 1st and 10 at midfield. Nick Lord taking over for Kyle Lyons. Had a great job at quarterback. Here's a little bit of play action and a QB keep. Lord gets to the outside. Lord across the 40, ahead to the 38-yard line. A pickup of 12, moves the chains again. And Tim, Nicholas Lord, he's impossible to bring down right now.
Yeah, he's just a guy who, again, is making the right read. As good job there to kind of bounce to the outside and then just keep it going.
Well, before the game we talked to Coach Saban, and he was talking actually at the time, Tim, about Kyle Lyon, how when Kyle Lyon really starts to get into a good groove, he was talking about how everything just starts working well for him, and that's when you ride that hot hand, and it's Nick Lord who's gotten into that groove right now, and he can't be stopped.
Right, and you just keep going to him. Let him do his thing here.
Lord on 1st and 10 takes the snap. Here we go. He loses the football on the transfer. It's on the turf, and I think Lord may have fallen on it. Or no, Holy Name is going to pick it up, and the Green Wave are going to take momentum back as they get a turnover. And it looked like coming in to pick up that loose ball for Holy Name was Nick Gagney, as we'll get another look at the play here.
Well, that was just a missed exchange. That could be from not taking all those snaps in summertime at the quarterback position. That time, when you don't have a true quarterback, sometimes in the backfield, it comes back to haunt you, and now you got to rely on your defense. Again, the 3rd fumble here for Parma here this evening.
And this could be a critical one because they were driving with a chance to take a 2-score lead. Now the Green Wave get the ball back early in the 4th quarter. Carter ready out of the shotgun, takes the snap, gives to Seymour. Seymour trying to bounce to the outside. He breaks out of one tackle. He skips over another to get down the far sideline for a pickup of 2 or 3. Tim, the Redmen are doing a good job of getting pressure into the offensive backfield, though.
They are. They know number 7, Seymour, is going to be touching the football, and they want to try to do everything they can. You're almost trying to sell out a little bit for him, and you run the risk of him trying to break one for a big play, though.
So as Seymour does pick up a yard, that's going to bring up 2nd and 9, 11:15 to go here in the 4th quarter, and there's a Parma Redmen being attended to by the training staff. We're going to step aside here. 4th quarter, it's the Redmen leading 14-10 on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to high school football action on Parma Area Community Television. Some scary moments here. The stretcher was out on the field. Fortunately, Tim, Alex Akovic walked off the field under his own power, and hopefully he'll be all right. But good news there certainly is it was scary moments when the stretcher came out, but he walked off the field.
Yeah, you didn't need to use the stretcher, which was the positive thing.
So back to football. The Green Wave have it 2nd and 9, 11:16 to go in the 4th quarter, trailing 14-10. This is going to be Carter out of the shotgun, back to pass. He fires at pass, was nearly intercepted, Tim. And with a knee down as he caught the football was Harhalos, so that's why the quick whistle came in. It's going to be 3rd and 3 now for Holy Name.
Well, now if you're the Redmen, you got to try to bear down here and see if you can get a stop and get the ball back.
On 3rd and 3 from the shotgun, ready to go on ahead and take this snap is going to be Carter. Seymour in the backfield. Let's see if Seymour gets the football. He doesn't. Pass fired over the middle. That's going to be complete. Enough for a first down with forward progress. Mike Cutter on the reception out at the 46-yard line. So Holy Name into Parma territory as they move the chains.
Well, Holy Name needs to complete a few passes because Parma right now is just looking where number 7 is and kind of gearing up on him. Let's see if they try to throw one to Seymour.
Here we go on 1st and 10 from the Parma 46 from the shotgun. Carter back to pass. Here's a little wheel by Seymour to get in the middle of the field. He's got the first down catch out of the 31-yard line, Tim. Seymour came out of the backfield, wheeled around the outside of that offensive line to make the catch over the middle.
I mean, to me, that was the next logical step, was you set up that pass and then you still get your big-time playmaker involved. You look, just wide open. No one picks him up coming out of the backfield. Then he makes one guy miss. He is so good in space. You see the big-time spin move get down close to the 30-yard line.
So here come the Green Wave on 1st and 10. They've got this football at the Parma 31, trailing 14-10, but driving. Back to pass, firing, pass low and almost intercepted. Having a chance to come up and pick that one away for the Redmen it looks like it was Nick Lord down there who almost picked that one off, Tim, as if he's not doing enough on the offensive side of the football. He almost had a big interception there, 2nd and 10.
Well, I'll tell you what, that deflected off the receiver's hands. If it didn't, it might have been another interception return for a touchdown.
So 2nd and 10 for Holy Name at the Parma 31. We're in the 4th quarter of action here. Redmond outscored the Green Wave 14-3 so far in the second half. Back to pass Carter. Carter up, fires. That pass is knocked away. I'll tell you what, Tim, the Parma secondary has been so good. Holy Name trying to take advantage of the Redmond secondaries. That was good coverage there by the captain, Josh Wheatus, because of how they've been keyed in on the run, and yet they're able to key in on the pass as well.
Right, good job there. Again, I'm just playing tight coverage, not trying to intercept everything, but just get a hand on it, deflect it away, and now you have a big-time 3rd down coming up.
On 3rd and 10, Carter, the sophomore quarterback, with Seymour in the backfield, takes the snap on play action. He steps back, he steps up, he's got some room, he fires, and no one was home. The intended receiver there was Ben Rivet. That's going to bring up 4th down. And Tim, I understand that Parma was keyed in on the run, but they did not give the ball to Seymour once, and now they're facing a 4th and 10.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough thing to do. And Seymour, look at him wide open in the flat there. And, I mean, they pass it to him. He's potentially got the first down, if not more.
Yeah, looking downfield on that replay, Tim, that might have been a touchdown. So here we go. This is going to be 4th and 10 from the 31. This is certainly 4-down territory. Play action again. Carter back to pass. Carter fires for the near sideline. Pass incomplete. And so the Redmen force a turnover on downs. Good job by the Parma defense. But, Tim, it's baffling that in that final little series there, they didn't try Seymour once.
Right on the ground, you kind of passed it to him a little bit out of the backfield, but I mean, maybe that comes to the point of, well, they're expecting to run. We need to kind of force the issue on the pass, but we'll see. I mean, it is what it is. Now you just got to play defense and try to get the ball back, and then I'm sure you'll see a steady diet of number 7.
Well, that was a big stop by the Parma defense. They've had a number of those here in this second half. Now here we go. This is the offense we've seen. Direct snap to Nick Lord, and Lord is going to get maybe a yard. It's going to bring up 2nd and 9. That time, the Green Wave were ready for it. And, Tim, in-game adjustments are hard in high school because of how many guys you got playing both ways. But you wonder if maybe in the moments they had, they drew up something defensively to respond to this.
Well, right. And that's what exactly. You go over there on the defensive side to say, hey, here's what they're doing. It's a read option. We haven't seen him really throw the ball except for one time on that deep pass. And that was a different quarterback than Nick Lord. So, I mean, you got to expect the run when Lord is in there. The question is who's going to be taking it, the quarterback or the running back?
And it's been a steady diet of Lord. He bounces to the outside. He's going to get to the 40. So that's going to set up 3rd and manageable on a good 2nd down run by Nicholas Lord.
Yeah, Nick Lord again. This was just a direct snap, no read option this time. Just a straight QB draw, got his momentum going and was able to get up the field.
And he'll say thank you very much to DiDonato, who threw a big block to open up that outside there. So that's going to be 3rd and short About 8.5 minutes to go in the game. The Redmen with a 14-10 lead, and the football. This second half has certainly gone well for the Parma Redmen. Here we go, ready to go on and take the snap is going to be Lord. Lord cuts to the outside. He's got space. Nick Lord has a first down and more. He's going to get all the way to the 47-yard line. So go on ahead and move the chains again for Nicholas Lord and the Parma Redmen.
Parma Redmen, yeah, you move the chains and you go ahead and you now just kind of eat away a little bit at that clock, 8:20. And just keep the ball on the ground here. You cannot afford a turnover. You have to keep both hands on the ball. Even if you go down and get 3 points here, you go up a full score.
And the thing to remember here, Tim, is on their last drive, it ended on a fumble. And that fumble came on an attempt at a handoff by Nick Lord. So if you're going to hand the ball off here, as you said, Tim, you can't afford the turnover. You got to make sure you hold on to that football. The Redmen put a man in motion. Here's the snap to Lord. Lord's got the option coming to the near side. He's going to keep it. He crosses midfield and gets ahead. He's eventually going to be brought down at the 48-yard line. So another solid first down pickup for Nicholas Lord and the Parma Redmen.
Right, and again, first down, if you can win first down, you're going to have a successful drive and a successful sequence of downs.
And so here we go. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 5 for the Parma Redmen. And winning on first down is certainly something they've done very well here in this second half. Lord looking into the end zone as well as DiDonato, who's lining up in the backfield next to Lord. This is going to be a 2nd and 5 for the Redmen. With about 7 minutes to go, they're eating clock on this drive as well as what you want to do. Lord tries to cut to the outside. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. Getting the pressure and bringing him down was C.J. Belotis, the only senior in that secondary, comes in out of the cornerback position and makes a big play.
Yeah, big time, and that's what seniors are known for. In big spots to come up and make big-time plays, and almost, look at him, he has a hand on that football. Got to be careful if your Parma cannot cough it up in this situation.
So this is going to bring up a 3rd and 8 situation here, Tim, and 3rd and 9 maybe. Now normally, even when you're trying to eat the clock at this point in time, this would probably be a passing down, but you don't know how much throwing Nicholas Lord does in practice, so it'll be interesting to see what the play call here is for the Parma Redmen on 3rd and 9. As there's the snap, it's going to be a handoff to Durham. He's going to be dropped in the backfield again, and who's there again but Belotis, C.J. Belotis, the senior. Back-to-back big plays, and that's going to bring up 4th down. And a flag flew in late, Tim, after the play, and the Parma Redmen right now got their fingers crossed that that's going to be a flag that goes against Holy Name, and it is not. It's a personal foul against the Parma Redmen. And so that'll push them back 15 yards before they have to go on ahead and punt the football here.
Well, I was going to say, if you would have picked up a decent gain on 3rd down, you might have thought about maybe going for it on 4th down. But after that loss here, you're going to be booting the ball away. And now, Holy Name's going to get pretty darn good field position pending a bunt, or I should say a punt and a good bounce on the punt.
So here we go, ready to punt this one away. It's going to be Podlinski for the Parma Redmen. 6:14 left. Now it's a high snap. This is trouble. Podlinski is going to pick it up at the 2. He's going to try to get out of trouble to the 5. He's going to be brought down at the 7-yard line with forward progress. And Tim, this is great field position for the Holy Name Green Wave. They're going to say the football came out, but that should have been stopped on forward progress. No, let's take a look at the replay.
It should have been stopped at forward progress. That's where they're marking it, is at the 7-yard line. But again, you know, sometimes the punt, the reason why it's it's an offense, defense, special teams is so key, where you don't have your normal personnel in there for a lot of it, and we've seen it cost college teams. We've seen it cost some big-time teams, and this was a key we talked about before the game. Special teams could play a big role in this game. We've seen a field goal for Holy Name, and now we see them being able to force a turnover and get their team on the doorstep here at the 7-yard line.
So after the bad snap, it's 1st and goal for the Green Wave from the shotgun. Here's the handoff, pushing up the middle, Seymour. Seymour is going to get ahead to the 3-yard line, and Tim, if you're Holy Name, I would imagine you're willing to let Seymour run the football 3 more times in this situation.
If Seymour can't get you 3 yards in 3 plays, you'll take your chances on that. So I would expect number 7 to touch the ball the rest of the way here on this drive.
So this is going to be 2nd and goal. Pistol formation now is ready to take this snap. Down there is going to be Carter. Carter with the snap. Here's the handoff to Seymour up the middle. Seymour fighting ahead, and Seymour is in. Shaquille Seymour going to be marked just short at the 1-yard line. So 3rd and goal now for the Green Wave.
Again, 2 plays to get it. And now I think his helmet came off, so he has to come out for a play here.
That should bring Thompson in, as here's the replay again. Seymour up the middle, and let's see where that helmet comes loose. I think it's down there at the bottom of the pile, Tim. And Holy Name is going to use a timeout here instead of losing him for a play.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably a wise move. But I mean, either way, you know, we haven't seen a QB keeper. Do we dare try to change it up and use Shaquille Seymour as a decoy, Ryan? Or do you just turn and give it to your, you know, the best player on your team and let him try to get you about a half a yard?
Well, those are the tough decisions, Tim. I would imagine that you would give it to your best player, but Seymour does not break the huddle here. I don't see him down there anyway for the Green Wave, so he's not going to be in there as Carter comes out and waiting to see who's going to be lining up in the backfield with him for this play in the pistol. And it looks like standing back there at tailback is Colin Costanzo, the junior. He's usually at fullback throwing blocks. He's lined up as the tailback in this pistol formation here, as we're going to be ready to go on 3rd and goal at the 1. So let's see if this does in fact go to Costanzo here. Ready to take the snap is going to be Carter. There it is. Hands it off to Costanzo up the middle. And Colin Costanzo is into the end zone. Is he? We think. Hold on. And he is. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Holy Name Green Wave take the lead. 16-14, 4:58 left to go in this game at Byers Field in Parma.
That was such a delayed call there on the touchdown. It looked like he broke the plane to me quite early. As you see him kind of fighting, no, maybe not. A second effort when he was on top of bodies, there you go. That's what it was. He wasn't down yet, and then he kind of fell his way into the end zone.
So Colin Costanzo comes up and picks up the touchdown. The extra point is good. It's 17-14 now, 4:58 to go. And Tim, the Parma Redmen have been here before. Week 1 against Olmsted Falls. They're in the game. It comes down to the 4th quarter in overtime. As we take another look at the replay of the touchdown run by Costanzo. Week 2, the next week, the Redmen score 15 points in the 4th quarter, and they got a 4th and 3 against North Royalton late in that game. Now, both those times they've lost, but here at Byers Field, the Redmen have had 2 other occasions where it's come down to the 4th quarter, and so this is their 3rd try in that situation this season.
Right? You have to like the time and how you've been able to move the ball on offense. Under 5 minutes, just barely at 4:58. Plenty of time, especially when the clock stops for a first down. So, I mean, if you're Parma, you don't have to switch anything up. It's not like you got to go, you know, a complete air attack here. You just got to go run your normal offense. And remember, you don't need a touchdown. A field goal ties this game as well.
This is the same thing as we said at the start of the half, Tim. There's still 5 minutes left in this game, and you're at home. You can take a few deep breaths and relax. Now you know, as Layden with the return is going to be pushed out of bounds at the 34-yard line. If you're Parma, now you know, Tim, you can move the ball on offense without Kyle Lyon. So take a few deep breaths. You got 5 minutes. You want to run. You can still do that. And just play the game you've been playing in the second half. You've still outscored Holy Name 14-10 in this half.
Well, I want to see if we can get guys like Louis D'Onofrio, I should say, involved in the offense a little bit. Remember, those guys usually kind of run the wheel routes or the guys in motion and then get a handoff. We've seen very little of that here in the second half. It's been run heavy, but it's been the same look. Let's see if Parma comes out and tries a different wrinkle here in the last 5 minutes.
Lord still at the quarterback position, takes a snap. Here's a handoff. It's going to go up the middle. Durham pushes the file ahead to the 38, 39-yard line, and we didn't really see at all on that last drive down there. Check that, I should say, is that Sebastian Spear with the carry for the Redmen that time. Still, we hadn't seen many handoffs from Lord, and that time we got one.
Second down, 6.
Well, again, you just have to change the perception a little bit where Lord's not going to have it every single snap.
That is Lord in the backfield with Spear. Here's the snap, and it's going to be a bobble on the handoff. Lord, lucky it comes into his hands, and that's going to be a loss of 3 or 4, Tim, as the pile piles up. So that's a tough break there for the Parma Redmen, but we've seen this. Nick Lord, not your normal quarterback, and these things, Tim, they tend to happen in these situations.
Right. I mean, they definitely tend to happen, and when you don't have your normal quarterback in, that's the second time. It's hard to just do the little things when you're not used to it, per se. And we'll see here what exactly the call will be, if they're just going to have him keep it up the middle here and try to pick this up in 2 downs.
On the near sideline, saw Colin Layden come over and try to get the student section into this game for the Redmen. Here's the snap. Lord with the keeper going to the outside. Lord almost got the first down, Tim. The ball comes out. At the end of the play, the Green Wave signaling they have it, but the officials whistling that already down, or are they? No, this is going to be a fumble recovery for the Holy Name Green Wave, or no? No, it's not. I did not think so, Tim. The Holy Name sideline at least reacted like they got it. Let's see on the replay here if he's down or not, Tim.
Well, it's going to be close. I mean, on the recovery, I don't know where the ball ended up coming out. No, he's not down.
Yeah, he's not down. So that football is out, and that should be a Holy Name recovery. And the Parma defense looks like they're taking the field, and that's what the call is, I believe, Tim.
Yeah, but there's a flag on the field, too. Now the question is going to be, if the penalty is on Holy Name and it's before the fumble, it could be Parma football. We're trying to get all this sorted out here.
Now, this is going to be a holding call, Tim. It's going to go against the Parma Redmen here. And that's going to back them up. So I do believe the officials on the field called no fumble there, because otherwise Holy Name would have declined that penalty because they would have gotten the football. So clearly the call on the field, Tim, was no fumble there, and the runner was down.
Well, that's...
And now, yeah, Parma had their punting unit on the field, and now it looks like their offense has come. This is certainly bizarre here.
The runner was not down for... I mean, that's the replay. I mean, I don't know if they...
Now, the Redmen are back on the field, and the Redmen are facing a 3rd down and 15 now. It sure looked like Parma had their defense on the field. Parma thought that was a turnover. They're going to go on ahead and get the football back, so that's certainly a bizarre chain of events here with 3 minutes left in the game. Lord takes the shotgun snap. He steps up. He fires deep down the far sideline. This is going to be intercepted at the 35-yard line as that's picked off by Jarrett Norwillow. Norwillow coming to the far sideline, loses the football out of bounds, and now flags come in as there's a little bit of frustration on the far sideline, Tim, and flags come flying into the play late as that was an interception by Norwillow down there.
Wow. And I mean, it all kind of evens itself out, Ryan. At the end of the day, should it have been a fumble and a recovery for Holy Name? Yes. So the next play, it's a interception, and the ball gets returned all the way back to about the 45 or so, and then there's a late hit out of bounds.
That's going to be a personal foul against Parma, and Tim, the fouls, the penalties are racking up against the Parma Redmen. Had a count earlier in the game, kind of lost count here in the middle, but those have really piled up, and at the end of the day, the biggest difference in this game is going to be in that penalty box, and I think that those penalties are maybe the biggest factor. The penalties and the turnovers, both of those have bit the Redmen hard tonight.
Right, and I think Coach Saban would be the first one to agree with you, Ryan, on you kind of beat yourself with this many penalty yardage, and not just penalties, the big penalties, the 10 and 15-yard variety.
A little bit of option here. It's going to be handed off to Seymour. Seymour is going to be dropped in the backfield. The Redmen have been on that in this second half. They have really bottled up Seymour, and not to be lost in all of everything that's happened today is just how well this Redmen defense has defended against the tough run of Seymour. He hasn't been able to break out and have a big game tonight.
No, he hasn't, and Parma getting loose another quarterback over here. They got to have someone who can throw. Lord is a kind of read option guy, but looking for someone who can sling the football.
That's Mark Post, who's throwing down the near sideline right now, warming up for the Redmen. As we are going to be ready to go on 2nd and 12. Holy Name running the clock. Here we go. This is going to be a handoff to Seymour. Seymour to the right side. Comes across the 25 to the 24-yard line. So Seymour is going to pick up 7. That's going to bring up a 3rd down situation. And now we're going to get a timeout here from the Parma Redmen, Tim. And they have to take these timeouts here because the Green Wave, they're in 4-down territory. So you need 2 more stops on this.
Right, and we'll see here what what the Redmen will dial up, but you got to think if you're Holy Name, you're just going to give the ball to Seymour a couple more times, and even if you have to, even if you don't pick up the fourth down, you'll maybe call a timeout and try to kick another field goal to try to get up by 6 points to make the Redmen score that touchdown. So you're definitely in the driver's seat if you're the Green Wave.
Now we know at the very least Marty Wallace could hit a 32-yard field goal. That's what he hit earlier in the third quarter, but Tim, he hit that with plenty behind it, so he's easily maybe able to kick from 5 or 6 yards at least further back than that. So if the Green Wave don't pick up the first down here on fourth down, you're right. They might want to try to force the Redmen to have to get a touchdown and a point after to get the win. They might decide to go with that field goal. First, we have to see what happens here on 3rd and 8. As ready to go on ahead and take this one out of the shotgun is going to be Carter. Carter takes the snap, gives to Seymour. Seymour's got room up the middle. Seymour pushes the pile, and initially, Tim, it looks like he's got enough for a first down out around the 15-yard line, and that'll move the chains. So the Redmen really needed to get a stop there. Now the Holy Name Green Wave could run off the rest of this clock without scoring, as Parma only has 2 timeouts left.
Yeah, it's going to be close. I mean, they're going to definitely run the clock here, as we'll see what the call will be. But again, if you're Seymour, you're going to have both hands on the football. And all things considered, Ryan, there was about one big run that Shaquille Seymour was able to rattle off, overall containing this potent rushing attack. Parma did a pretty good job tonight.
Yeah, good night for that Redmond defense. Handoff to Seymour. Seymour up the middle, and they're still playing tough on him as they bring him down at the 12-yard line. And that's the other thing you love to see, Tim. No quit in this defense. Now the Redmen are going to take the timeout, so the Holy Name Green Wave getting closer to coming up with a victory here as the Redmen use their second timeout. But Tim, Parma still alive in this game. They just are going to need a couple of things to go their way in order to get at least a chance to have the football back one more time.
Well, right. You got to try to cause a turnover. You've been able to do it a couple times tonight. Let's see if they can, just hopefully get a helmet on that football or get a hand on it, be able to punch it out somehow and get a recovery. And then you never know. But first things first, you got to get that football back somehow, some way. If you stop them 2 more times, you potentially you're going to force them into a field goal, and they missed a field goal. You have little time left, so you're grasping at straws without the turnover. So you got to try to make something here on the defensive side.
And it's going to be a 2nd and 7, and the defense has made a lot of big plays tonight for the Parma Redmen. The defense made maybe the biggest play of the night for the Parma Redmen, the 68-yard interception return for a touchdown by Colin Layden. The defense has certainly done their part for the Parma Redmen tonight. Here we go. This is going to be a 2nd and 7 for the Green Wave. Carter out of the shotgun. He's going to be ready with Seymour standing next to him. Carter takes the snap, gives to Seymour. Seymour sees some space, and Shaquille Seymour scampers into the end zone, a 13-yard touchdown run, and the Holy Name Green Wave have a 2-score lead, 23-14, 1:16 left.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, right when you think, sometimes you're just trying to run the clock out and you find an opening and get into the end zone. Seymour, really, that was the first time there. You're trying to pin your ears back, and he caught him over pursuing and was able to get into the end zone for the touchdown and maybe the icing on the cake and the dagger here for Holy Name.
Well, Tim, we know next week the Parma Redmen, they're going to close their season with a game at Bay as that PAT attempt is up, and it was wild to the left, Tim. So they're going to end their season with a PAT at Bay. Their team, or I should say with an away game at Bay, Tim, their record is 3-6. But if you look at the first 2 weeks of this week, they could just as easily be 6-3.
They could be. And that's the thing where if you're Parma, yeah, it's been a year of close. And, next year they're hoping to try to get over that hump and potentially have a winning record and get back a couple more games. But you can learn from this. Next week already is week 10. You're going to put a close on the regular season of high school football. And, it's hard to believe that this football season's almost over. It feels like we're just getting it started. And
so the Redmen are going to be at Bay, a chance to go on ahead and they still have a chance to finish the season 4-6. You'll take that. That's a solid year for the Parma Redmen. Meanwhile, the Holy Name Green Wave, Tim, they're going to improve to 6-3. And with this 5-game winning streak after a slow 1-3 start, the Green Wave are putting themselves in position to be potentially knocking on the door of the playoffs coming up. As here's going to be a return, and it's going to be Colin Layden returning the ball to the 30. and that'll be where the Redmen will have to start this drive, as they're going to have it 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line with 1:10 left to go in the game. And we're going to see, Tim, if maybe we see a different quarterback out there, as we have a Redmond down on the field right now.
Well, not only that, Ryan, about, you mentioned Bay where Parma is going to play, but this Holy Name team, they have Rocky River, which is a tough game to end their year. That's going to be a dandy of a football game, really, to kind of determine the conference coming up.
And, a win over Rocky River with the year they've had, Tim, would certainly put Holy Name into the playoff picture. Of course, next week on this field, we have a big game as the Valley Forge Patriots will take on the Normandy Invaders next Friday night here on this field to wrap up the season at Byers Field.
Yeah, and again, the Invaders will be looking for their first win. Don't know how either of those two teams did tonight. We'll try to find that out for you.
Well, we're going to step aside right now. Just about a minute left in the fourth quarter. It's the Redmen down by 9 on Parma Area Community Television. High school football on Parma Area Community Television. Captain Anthony Menace taken off the field on a stretcher. He waved to the crowd on his way out. Hopefully he's all right. Meanwhile, here's a carry for the Parma Redmen out close to a first down. And the Redmen, Tim, running out of time with 1:03 left in the game. And that time it was Post on the carry for the Redmen as he's checked in at quarterback.
Yeah, Post, a guy with a little bit better of an arm. You're going to see if he can hoist a couple here.
Mark Post, a 5'11", 200-pound sophomore. And now they do move the chains for Post. So that's going to bring up a 1st and 10 for the Redmen, and they're going to take it from their own 41-yard line. As we are just over a minute left in this game, the Redmen with a 9-point deficit. They're down by 2 scores. They led 14-10 opening this fourth quarter, but the Green Wave, 2 touchdowns into the books. Here we go. This is going to be a handoff going up the middle. Post dives ahead. He's going to get across midfield, and that's going to be close enough, or awfully close, I should say, to a first down. It's not quite there, or is it? Yes, it is there. They're going to move the chains again for the Redmen. So another first down, 1st and 10 for the Redmen from the 49-yard line. Is ready to go. Let's see if we don't see a throw come here soon, as here we go. This is another QB draw up the middle, and that's going to get ahead to the 46-yard line. So the Redmen, Tim, keeping the ball on the ground here to end this game.
Well, and again, you've lost Kyle Lyon. You've lost one of your big-time receivers. You've had another injury to this game. Right now, you're just getting banged up. If you're Parma, second to last game of the year, you might just figure, hey, let's get out of here. We've had a good game, penalties or something that we can harp on going into next week, and let's just try to get out of here with what we can.
Post from the shotgun takes the snap, goes to the outside, and there's nothing there for Post. He's going to be dropped at about that 45-yard line. So that's going to bring up a third down, and that should mark the final seconds off this game. So the Parma Redmen lose a heartbreaker tonight as they fall to the Holy Name Green Wave by the final score of 23-14. We'll be back to wrap it up after this on Parma Area Community Television. Welcome back to high school football action here on Parma Area Community Television. Ryan Radke with Tim O'Brien. The Parma Redmen drop a heartbreaker tonight to the Holy Name Green Wave, 23-14. Tim, that game was closer than that score would indicate.
Well, right, 9 points is still a close game, though, at the end of the day, Ryan. And, 23-14, and Parma at one point had a 14-10 lead. So, it's just unfortunately you coughed the ball up a couple too many times and too many penalties today. That's what you take out of this for Parma.
Now, the Redmen ended up having a 14-10 lead going into the fourth quarter. We'll take a look at that in a minute. First, though, Tim, we'll take a look at the tail of the tape.
Yeah, the stats. I mean, you see it right there. 323 rushing yards for Parma isn't too bad. 315 on the other side for Holy Name. So if you would have told me before this game the Redmen would outrush the Holy Name Green Wave with Shaquille Seymour, I would tell you Parma would be in the win column, but unfortunately just 47 passing yards, 370, and look at that penalty yardage. 13 penalties against the Redmen for 140 yards.
And the turnovers is key down there too, Tim.
5 turnovers just to 2 for the Green Wave. And that right there, those last two lines tell you all you need to know of why Parma, is walking out of here defeated by 9 points.
Yeah, ultimately those two stats tell the story of this game and what was otherwise a very good game tonight for the Parma Redmen. Tim, let's take a look at some of the highlights from this game. The Redmen were trailing 10-0, but then in a short period of time in the third quarter, they were able to get back into it. We'll start out here with a touchdown by Nick Lord, and they found something with Nick Lord in the offense.
Yeah,
here.
just straight up the middle, the little what I call is the read option. That was a straight QB keeper, but so many times you see him just run the football, make the right decision, get up the field. He's a special player, was able to get into the end zone.
So it's a 10-7 game now. The Redmen still down, but not for long, as on the very next Holy Name drive, they get a big play from their defense.
How about this? As that was an interception and it returned all the way back for a touchdown. And, we mentioned 2 or 3 times they were close to doing this and taking that all the way in for the pick six. That was the turning point and gave them the 14-10 lead.
Colin Layden with a nice return, 68 yards for a touchdown. And the Parma defense really played a big game today. And all of a sudden, the Redmen were up 14-10. But then, Tim, there was a bad snap on a punt. It gave Holy Name a really good field position, and they wound up taking the lead on this score here.
Yeah, from 7 yards out as the fullback was able to get the football. Remember, Seymour's helmet came off, so he had to come out for a play. So you give it to your big fullback, and he rumbles in for a touchdown. And 1 yard out, you give it to the big guy and let him get in.
Colin Costanzo on the touchdown there. That gave Holy Name the 17-14 lead. They'd add an extra score late after an interception thrown by Parma, and the Holy Name Green Wave wind up coming out victorious tonight with the 23-14 victory. Of course, next week on this field, Tim, we have a big matchup as Normandy takes on Valley Forge.
Normandy and Valley Forge, the finale for football here on Parma Area Community Television. We'll both be back here for it, Ryan. We always like to call that game. It's a big-time rivalry between the Parma City School Districts, and, we'll have all the action right here on PAC.
Well, that wraps it up for us tonight. Once again, the final score at Byers Field, the Holy Name Green Wave 23, the Parma Redmen 14. Have a good night, everybody.